Okay, welcome. It is the Finance Committee, Gail Weiss. I am the chair, and it is 6:01 p.m. I've introduced myself. If I have anybody else, I'll go around and just introduce everybody and say
Dan
you're here.
Campbell, Bernie Parada.
And Morgan O'Brien.
Lindsay McCarthy.
And Robin Vandermatt.
Thank you. Come on up and welcome. Thank you for taking time out of this crazy winter.
Thanks for having me. Glad I could make it on time for once.
And I'm glad you weren't in the middle of a snowstorm.
I think it is. One of the first times it actually made it when we scheduled you.
Right.
No snow.
Okay, so you have the floor and just let us know some of the highlights, expenses, some things you're going to be doing or plan to do.
Alright, you wanna go over the capital afterwards to the
Sure.
budget
Yeah, with the
first?
capital after.
Okay, on the tree part of it, I went up $500 in the for planting new trees. Now that the budget's kind of run out from the tree planting, 50th, 350th or whatever, we were using a lot. They were using a lot of that money, so we're trying to add a little each year to that. So I upped that from 1,500 to 2,000.
Actually, you didn't have any last year, so it's actually going from 500 to 2,000.
Yeah.
You're getting it back?
No, I put the 500 and 1,500 in last year.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
That's what we had because we had spent it.
Okay.
I think it's just a thing that's across. When you bring it across, I noticed it tonight just before I came, but last year there was 50. There was the allocation of the 1150, 11,500,
Okay.
and then it went up in 26 to 12,500.
Okay, yep.
So it does look like it hasn't gotten. Last year I had 1,500 in there, and then I added the 500 in the pay scale into it
To make it 2,000.
to make it 2,000
Okay.
this year. So it'll bring it to the 12,500.
Okay, so it looks like
Oh, I
it's
see what
labeled.
you did.
Yeah.
Use it. Okay.
It looks like it's level funded. At least tree budget.
Okay.
And then down on the next one, on a couple of things I went up on the phones, where the expense of them have gone up. And the other supplies that I went up a little bit on is my safety supplies that I have to buy for the help, gloves and vests and shirts and et cetera. That stuff, hard hats, all that stuff has gone up in cost. And then the uniforms I went up a little because I wasn't sure. You never know with them when they're gonna change. They don't send you notice till it changes.
Right, yeah. Or you know, surprise, here's the bill.
Right. So that up to that to 2150.
Okay.
And then down on the highway, I level funded the highway. I didn't go up on any of that. I was going to. A lot of the products have gone up, but it's fluctuating all over the place, and it's hard to. So for this year, I just left it the same as I had for last year.
Can you tell me, can you tell me if you'd like me to wait till the end for my questions?
No, if you want a question on each one, or however you want to do it.
I was just curious to know about the encumbrance that you had for $100,000. Like, was that like a deposit that needed to be put down for a truck or something? Because
No.
I see it was
That's,
there and then,
sometimes what we try to do is the oil and stone that we do gets put off, due to weather and stuff, so it doesn't get used before the end of, our fiscal year, so we encumber it into the next year, and then we spend it all at once. So that encumbered 100,000's been used already.
So it's gone.
In this past year, it's gone now.
okay.
Yeah.
But some of these other highway things, I mean, any of the things, oil and stone's the one you notice it a lot on because it's all weather dependent.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it gets too cold at the end of the year, they can't do it, so we end up encumbering it because of the scheduling for the following year.
Gotcha.
So it rides over. So we just carry that money over so we don't lose it.
I see where that oil and stone. Yeah, okay. I'm tracking
Yeah.
money now. Thank you.
Okay. And then the snow removal, I basically, we left it the same, that's one that you can deficit spend in, which is possibly gonna be close this year.
I'm sure. I know,
It's
yeah.
gonna be worse, or you're gonna be looking for some funds?
As of right now, I'm not, but if it keeps going the way it's going, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
salt is, that salt stuff's expensive
Yeah,
this
the
year.
salt went up almost $20 a
Yeah.
ton this year.
I think it's like almost 100, over 100
Yeah,
now.
I think it's 101 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I noticed in
And
the towns.
you know, and the
yeah.
cost of the other cost of the expenses that we've had some major breakdowns this year, unfortunately. I mean, and we're still waiting on 2 new vehicles. One we've had ordered for over 2 years, and the other one's been almost a year now. So,
Last time we talked, it was like right there.
well, they were supposed to start building in January, both of them. I'm supposed to have one by the end of January, and here we are, February. And the last 2 weeks, I've been calling them 3 times a day, and nobody's returning my calls.
And they say
So
it
I'm
was
kind of assuming they aren't even building the trucks yet. That they just,
Didn't you say it was a park lot that you couldn't get to it or
Right.
whatever?
yeah.
That was crazy.
So tomorrow I have to go get parts down to where one of the trucks is being built, so I'm gonna go out back and see what's going on with the smaller truck. But the bigger truck, the one we've been waiting for a couple of years, at some point when I slow down a little bit, I gotta drive to Connecticut and see what's going on, because the phone's obviously not doing
When
it.
was your anticipated getting that one or being delivered? What was, what
The
did they tell
the
you?
big truck was supposed to be delivered, back in July.
Okay.
Then they told me October 1st. And then they told me that they were still waiting on stuff. They were gonna start at December 1st. Then when I get a hold of the guy December 1st, he told me they were starting at January 1st.
Because of the delays, it cost you more in repairs and things that you.
It's not the
probably wouldn't
repairs
have?
that we're having problems with that we have to fight about now. It's the warranties on the vehicles.
Oh, okay. So they're out
Because
of
the
warranty.
warranties start when the vehicle hits the dealership.
Them?
The dealership, so.
So it's been sitting there this whole time
It's
under
been
warranty?
sitting under, so you basically lost almost 2 years of warranty right now on our big truck. And it's not just us, I've talked to several other towns and they're trying to figure out, it's supposed to be, the warranty's supposed to start when you get billed for the truck. We haven't been billed for the truck or the accessories or anything, obviously. And the trucking company calls me all the time because they want their money for their part of things. But until I get the product, I'm not signing off on a truck that I don't even know if it runs right yet, because we haven't even sat in it, so.
Now, is it built like in 2 parts? Like I know a lot of fire engines, you have the chassis
Yeah,
and you pay for that
that's-
and then you,
Yeah, and that's what it is, the chassis came in back,
okay,
I think the chassis was the chassis was sitting down there for 6 months.
Oh.
And then they moved it in June over to Connecticut, where it's being, all the dump body and
Okay.
the snow plows
Yeah.
and all that stuff's getting installed. If I was to put a truck on the warrant this year, they already told us you're 2 years out. That's why I decided not to even put one on, because I just as soon get what we have, and then hopefully they'll be caught up. They've got every excuse on it's the body, it's the plow, it's the this, it's the that,
it's
it's
not
help.
the importer or anything, the tariffs or?
No, they told me they didn't have the dump body for the big dump truck that we're waiting on, which back when I was gonna have it in October, they told me everything was there, but in December, they were waiting on the dump body. I talked to the guy January 1st, he said everything was sitting there next to the truck, ready to go. And they were bringing it in the shop, but like I said, the last 2 weeks, 3 times a day I've been calling and not a call back, so. It's a tough situation for all
Oh,
of us.
yeah.
And the biggest problem other towns ran into, they're buying the trucks ahead of time to try to beat the electric stuff. But now they're all worried about the warranty because they're putting trucks in their garage that are gonna be sitting there for 2 or 3 years before they even have them built, so they probably won't have any warranty on them.
Would it be cost effective to have an extended warranty?
I got the extended warranty, but that goes up to 5 years, but technically your warranty should start once you get the truck. That's the way we all feel
Once you
about it.
accept
yeah.
it, yeah.
Right, once we
Yeah.
accept it and we pay the bill for the truck, that's when the warranty should start. We ran into it with one of the other trucks, the Western Star truck that we've had, the rear end went in that this fall in October. It was supposedly still under warranty, but I had to fight for 2 months to get them to put the rear end in under warranty because that truck sat for a year before we got it. So they were trying to say I didn't have the extended warranty on it. So my 3-year warranty was all up because we've had the truck for a little while, but we finally, it got covered under warranty,
did?
but there was a lot of fighting.
Didn't realize you had that issue
Oh, it's,
to work with, so.
yeah, well, and I mean, and that was one of our main plow trucks that we were down earlier. We never got that back till the end of December, and it broke down the last week in October. And it sat up there because they wouldn't, nobody would warranty it, so they pushed it outside. So. And on the machinery maintenance, I did go up a little bit on that, only due to what I was just basically, I mean, mechanics now for trucks are anywhere from $125 to $160 an hour because of the computers, and the cost of oils have gone up considerably too. Oil and grease have almost doubled this year. So I went up on my machinery maintenance, 15,000.
I saw that there's. Hi, Morgan.
Yeah.
I saw that there was a spike a little bit last year in your maintenance spending.
Over, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What happened?
We had to have some major work done to our grader. When we got into the grader to fix some minor stuff, it turned into,
Okay.
it went from like a $5,000 job to $25,000 job.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the problem this year, the machinery maintenance. I mean, with the costs that we've had to incur, we're trying to do as much as we can ourselves.
Yeah.
There's just certain things when it comes to the computers on the trucks that we don't have the technology to test them and figure out what's wrong, so I have to take it somewhere.
Gotcha.
And that's the biggest other downfall that I dislike as coming from old schooling. We used to be able to work on everything, and now we're committed to somebody else and the truck sitting there and waiting for somebody to hook their computer to it.
Yeah.
Again, it's not just Northfield, it's every town around is running into these same problems. You probably have it on your car too. I mean, but big trucks can be worse. The biggest problem is the DEF systems on them. We're having a lot of problems, especially with the cold weather right now we're having.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to freeze, and they're freezing, and when they freeze and they don't work, the truck doesn't run. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a vicious cycle. And then the garage I had left the same. I've been doing all right with that, where we heat with the wood. We don't, other than the electricity has gone up a little bit, but I'm working with the energy committee, and they're looking at putting solar over there.
What is Survey Bounds Town? What is that?
That's to survey roads.
Oh, okay, okay,
So that we know where we own.
Okay.
And we can mark them out.
okay.
And the street lights just, I mean, Andrea could probably, it's just, they put it under the highway, it's just this is nothing I have anything to do with, it's under here, but it's just, I think, for accountability of where the money is. For
Each
the,
town does it differently.
That's where the account number falls under.
Yeah,
Under
yeah.
classification.
I know some towns we pay it under general electricity, some they do it separate.
And then my cemetery, so far, we've been doing all right, we've been doing a few improvements with extra money at the end of the year. We've redone a few roads and a couple, and we've started the expansion project on Pentecost last year. If we have a little money left at the end of the year. So I left that the same.
What are things that fall under the other purchase services? I think is
In
in
which,
the cemetery.
that's what the other purchase services would be, we hire out the lawn mowing.
Gotcha.
That's one of them that falls under that. And then we have regular time or overtime if they have to come in on weekends to dig the graves, because we dig the graves ourselves. So we have, one of our employees does it, or if they're full burials, a couple people have to come in. And then the other services that we purchase are like, I purchased blacktop for the roads or whatever to maintain the roads, or bought markers before for lining out new lots. We pin the ends so we know where the lots are, so we can run a string line to hopefully keep things straight.
Thank you.
Tom, at one time you were going to digitalize some of the graves.
We're working on it.
Okay.
That's a lot of work.
can
It's,
understand
the problem that we have is I think we have Mount Herman Cemetery is done and Pentecost is almost done. Those are the easier ones because they're small. The problem we're gonna have with Center Cemetery is there's no maps, there's no anything.
I know
To-
somebody might help you with some of that, so.
Huh?
I have somebody that might help you with some of that kind of,
Well, the problem is to figure out how many lots that people own is the biggest problem, and that's been a problem even with the ones we have. And then there was never anything marked on the maps for a number of years, and then even for years, when the Bassett's did it, they had all their stuff in a notebook. So it didn't, you have a square on the map, and it could be, I mean, it's supposed to go by inches on a ruler, so much is so much. I mean, some are 4, but then when you actually get out there and measure and find the cornerstones, there are actually 6 lots. But there's nothing marked where anybody's buried is the problem we're having. So we have to physically go out there and probe or look for the headstones to put it on the digital. That's,
a little difficult, yeah.
nobody, I mean, not having any records is the biggest downfall. And I mean, I've talked to the place that's helping us, and they said there's no easy way other than when we have a day or two, if I can send somebody down there, they go down and take a row and try to.
We have some very old records in the vault. Do you know
Yeah,
you aware of those?
but
that are
some of
drawn
them, the
out?
hard part is reading them.
Well, that too, but they have, it's all, some of them are drawn out. So I don't know if you've seen those.
I've seen some of
Okay,
them.
okay.
And then, I mean, the ones that since I've been here that we've sold, like we'll take and, if we know how many lots that, have been sold, or we figured out other lots, we box them off and then we highlight them as we bury people, so you can go back and look.
Are there any lots still available in Center Cemetery?
No,
Yeah, okay.
not that, there's no room that,
Okay.
everything, I
Alright,
mean,
so-
like I said, there's never been a map that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know there's over 2,000 in there. So.
Yeah,
Then we have a couple old ones too that are probably not in use anymore. The one on South Mountain, and what's the other one?
South Mountain and,
Orange Road up in, no.
Collier Cemetery.
Collier, yeah.
Yeah, those two we just maintain and mow a couple times a year,
But they're not active.
but they're not
basically, yeah.
active. I've never done a burial the 24 years I've been here. Center, we've done a few. The problem we have is, like I said, locating them. Usually you have to walk and the people try to send you a photo because they know where the family lot is, but a lot of them are calling from California or somewhere, and they're only coming up the day before or the day of the funeral. And sometimes they just mail the ashes and want you to bury them, but the two ends on
Yeah.
Center Cemetery are newer, so those stones you can read. It's the center and the 2 outer edges.
The
that
old
are
stones,
really-
yeah, they're hard to
yeah.
read.
I mean, like last year, for instance, a guy called and he finally sent me a picture, and it's a stone about this big. And if you drive on the back, it was buried under the brush. It's right on the very edge of the hill. And he said that's his sister, and we had to bury the mother or something next to him. And it's,
Oh,
and I said, oh, we can't find it anywhere. I'm really sorry. And they finally sent me a picture, and we dug around through the leaves because you could kind of, from where they took the picture in the cemetery, you could kind of see, okay, this is a stone I think they were standing near. And that's how we finally found it. But we were 2 days looking for that one little stone. So it's a lot of people think it's just a matter of walking there and open a map and look around. But that one down there, I mean, the only person was the Quinns, honestly, were the biggest help in Center Cemetery. They knew because they've done so many burials. I mean, even the real old stuff. Davey's father was excellent with that stuff down there. He could drive down, and if you go look right over in this area here, that's where you're gonna find it. So, but unfortunately, that's all gone now too, so it's tough.
How many cemeteries actually does the town have?
7.
7.
5 that we maintain all the time, and then the 2 on the mountain.
Okay.
You have Center Cemetery, Pentecost, Mount Herman Cemetery, West Northfield Cemetery, and the farms.
The farm. Yeah.
And those are the ones we have mowed, and we've been doing some of because we bought a bigger mower too, so like the field areas, we've been mowing on other to save us money than to pay out the contractors. I have our person go down and mow them a couple times a month to keep the grass down, so that's helped a lot too.
All right.
Any more questions on the budget before we move on to these capital projects? Okay. So you've got the 3 capital requests plus stabilization fund.
Yep.
Okay. So, UTV. So, were we given any quotes or any?
Yeah,
There's a quote.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
There's for the
okay.
mower from
Okay.
Max Equipment.
Okay.
So
What do you want to start with?
I'll start with the mower.
Okay.
This is to replace the 2012 John Deere that we have. This past year, we put quite a bit of money in to keep it going, and actually, I've been waiting since December for some solenoids that I need for it, and they're obsolete. But the guy did tell me that I can find them on Amazon, I guess, today when I talked to him. So, this is something we use all summer long. A tractor like we have is $260,000. The tractor that I propose to you is not just a tractor. It can be used for multiple functions. You can actually plow snow with it, snow blow with it if you needed to. That's the reason I looked at this. The mower that we have now is strictly, that's all you can do with it is roadside mow. You can't use, you can use a blower on the back, but we have to take the whole mower system off because it will hit the blower, like blowing leaves and stuff in the fall. This is equipped with it actually has a mower on the front of it, but it mows, it'll reach back a little further than what we have. It's a lot more safer than the piece of equipment we also have now. This is a design that's, if you guys are familiar with like a forklift lull, they call them, they use them on construction sites. And things flex. The tractor that we use now, we have a piston on the front because the mower's so heavy we have to have so much counterweight off the other side, which the tractor's equipped with it. But the piston function hasn't been working, so when you reach way over a bank with a mower, it tips the tractor quite a bit, more than you're
How old is
comfortable.
your tractor that you?
It's a 2012,
2012.
yeah.
And
And it's got over 8,000 hours on it. It was actually the shared tractor when we bought it. So it was shared with other
the other
towns,
towns, okay.
and then when we ended up with it, it already had quite a few, I mean, it was 5 years old when we ended up with it. So it's,
So when you got it, when did you get it, or what? How old was it?
it was brand new in 2012.
Okay, and you got it when? 2017 or?
Well, we were still using it. We were part of the whole
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
so we used it right along, and we sponsored it, so we took care of it.
Right.
Okay.
We made sure all the maintenance was done, and if somebody broke like the fender or whatever, we made them fix it before we got it back. Other towns that used it, but it was a 5-year program, and then we gave the electric company $1 for it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this one really didn't cost the town anything but $1. The one that we have now,
one would
but
be
to
nice.
replace it, it's not a shared one. It's
Yeah.
just our own.
Yeah.
But it's a multi-function. You can put up to 20. You can put up to 20 attachments. But I mean, it's obviously comes with a cost. If you buy an attachment, it costs money. But it's a versatile tractor. It's not just a tractor.
So what do you have for attachments that is coming with this? Is that part of
It's
it?
coming with a blower and a mower at this point.
Mower and mower.
Yeah.
That's one of the side more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the side mower and actually the way it's designed, it mows. I tried one out. They brought one up just before the snow started, and it can reach way out in front of the tractor. It also, the head on it swivels 360 degrees, and the head can be removed, and you can actually buy like a grapple to pick up brush way over guardrails, things like that. I mean, there's, like I said, 20. But the mower we have now, you have to unbolt everything, and you have to disconnect all the hydraulic hoses, cap them off if you take it. This one has all quick connect, so you can, within 5 minutes, you can take the head of that off and put another attachment on this.
Was this on your 5-year capital list?
Yeah, it was on the capital list, but I think it was ahead a little bit, and then I had to bring it back because of the problems we were having with the other one.
Okay. So this would be your biggest expense for capital this year?
Yeah.
On here?
Actually, it was on 2027, but it was the smaller tractor that I held off on. And the mower was down at 200,000. That was on it too. The little tractor we have, I held off on this year because it's still running fine, and we're the only ones that ever use it. There was never a shared tractor, so it's got, I think, 3,000 hours on it. It's still in good shape.
So this tractor would be kept and this mower would be in addition to? Is that the intention?
Well, no, we have another small tractor that was due to be replaced if you looked on my capital plan.
Yes, yeah, I see on line 4, you've got your John Deere tractor.
Yeah,
from
that one we're
2012.
gonna keep, instead of, the expense of that this year, I'm keeping that, cause
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, so these are two separate
Yeah,
pieces of equipment. Thank you.
so that 200,000 was, I mean, back when we bought this other one was 120, then it was 180 when we were getting prices years ago to kind of put this together, but like I said, I got a price on the John Deere tractor identical to what we have, and it was 260. This one here actually is like 280. I mean, you don't know, with inflation between now and the time if it gets approved, that's why I put
So
300.
the availability of this would be after July or into July?
Well, there could be a year out for these two, depending on how many. These are fairly new. They're down south, but they're all American made too,
Okay.
as
If
well.
it's free
So,
cash, it's
We can use
available
for,
the day after
okay,
town
we
meeting.
can do it, okay.
Depends how you fund it.
Can you?
Are you trading in that piece of equipment to purchase this?
I traded, or we've had better luck getting more money with the auctions.
Okay.
So we would get auction money or trade in. They were gonna look at it, see what they give us for trade-in value. I know watching the auction sites, the tractor like what we have, they're going for 40 to 50,000 on the auction sites. Probably on a trade-in, I'm gonna say they're
20.
probably 15 or 20. But they're gonna look at it if we move forward. They don't have a problem looking at a trade-in, so.
Okay.
Where does the money go then when you get money for an auction, from an auction sale?
Back into
Goes back to
general
free
fund.
cash?
Yeah, general fund.
General fund, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
The other
Yeah.
thing too is, Tom, is how is the maintenance? I know John Deere has had issues with some of their newer equipment being proprietary, where you can't repair it yourself. You have to go
Yeah.
more to a dealer. I'm talking the larger pieces of equipment, not a standard residential lawn tractor. How are these people? This company, is this more an open
Yeah.
system for repair? You're
They
not
have
as
a guy right on 24 hours, around the clock,
yeah.
service, parts. He comes up this way a lot, so he brings a lot of stuff. But they're gonna try to have a location, and they talked about like Ludlow area down that way, kind of centrally located.
Okay.
This mower barrier that just purchased, would that be compatible with this, or is that
Well,
mower
that
barrier
could actually
separate?
fit on the front of it, but we run it on a different machine that we have already.
Okay.
But we could use it on that because it would fit on it. It has, it basically, the front of it, if you know, I mean, I use a skid steer setup that you pull two handles up and you can detach your front bucket and put something else on. This is the exact same thing. You can just pull the two handles up and drive right into any attachment. Any skid steer attachment will actually fit on this tractor. The thing that I liked about it was the stability and everything else, the way it's got bigger tires all around. It's definitely a lot more stable than what we're running now.
Do you use it in the wintertime at all, or will it be used in the wintertime?
We'll use it up until we get snow like we have now. We do a lot of brush trimming with it. And he usually does the regular grass and trimming, and then in the fall we go back and do the higher up. He reaches up in the trees and cuts them back. And this actually reaches 27 feet. Our other one only
26.
does.
It says 26 on this, so, which
Yeah,
is
but-
8 foot.
Yeah, and then our one we got now only goes 18 feet. So
No.
The reason I asked about the winter, because their heating package for your mirrors is like $800
yeah,
or $900.
but some of that stuff, honestly, it's on there and it's already standard on it.
Yeah.
But even in the summertime, you need the heated mirrors because if you're mowing in the rain, they fog up and then you can't see too, so.
Heated mirrors are the best.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I look forward to it someday.
Oh, so nice. You get spoiled real
Not in the
quick.
wintertime. It's too cold.
Right
All
here.
right, the other,
The-
But are we done on this one?
Are we done? Okay, the Kubota.
the Kubota one was, that's a UTV to, well, for one, one of the bigger things that we got thinking of, not that it's been breaking down, other than we have a couple flat tires this year with it, is the sidewalk machine we bought. I mean, now that we're doing the sidewalks, if something happens to it, we don't have a backup. So if we're down wait, I mean, luckily any parts that we have needed, we haven't had to wait very long, but when we do the dirt roads, we're in the pickup truck and you're climbing in and out of the pickup truck all the time. You take Orange Road, it's 5 miles long and there's 37 culverts on it. You have to check both ends and you rake the stones, and now they're in and out of the pickup truck and everything else. We were looking at this to drive down the road because you can just put it in park, climb out the side, get back in it, and it has a little dump body on the back that you can put the stones and everything else. Whereas now you throw them way up on a pickup or in the dump truck, it's harder. And then again, the backup and for the leaves, cleaning ditches, because we go road to road every fall, clean all the ditches, so you can drive down the edge of the road, climb out, and have a backpack blower there. Now they got a pickup blocking the whole road. So it's something that we had put out there, and then it would have the capability of the backup for plowing the sidewalks as well. It has a plow. This comes with a plow and a little sander in the back and everything. So.
Is this a wish, want, or need?
Wish and need, I guess.
Wish and need.
It's a lot more economical. Like I said, it's a matter of time when we're gonna have to do something about, we should have a backup plan for the sidewalks. You take a snowstorm that we just had, we don't have any type of backup plan, and people are gonna wonder when that's gonna get done. And it's hard to rent something. I mean, you gotta try to find something, then you're gonna have to go get it.
The only thing is, as far as this piece of equipment, and trying to justify it as a need, I think you might get some blowback from people. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
I can see, your mower. This one will say, well, you already have the plow to do the sidewalk, but like you said, that can break down and then you have no backup. So that's why I asked which one or need. So
I mean, there's a lot of these too on the auction that you could buy that are reasonable. They're around $8,000 to $10,000 on the auction with a ton of, that schools have owned and stuff. But if we don't have any money in an account to do it, then whenever it comes up for auction, you can't bid on anything. And they're in really good shape. Is
that something that you would be looking at instead of this? And then what would happen there is
this is just a price on a new one,
a
just,
brand new one.
yeah.
You haven't had a chance to check out. I don't know if you have enough time to do that and get some idea what they might cost on auction, in an auction.
Yeah, anything I've been looking at right now is anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000, but it depends on the shape they're in too.
True.
You gotta look at them. Some of them don't all come with
All the bells and whistles.
well, yeah, it doesn't have the back, it doesn't have a sander, but it might have a plow on the front of it. So you gotta watch all the different things.
Okay. Yeah.
Knew it would come with a warranty, I would assume.
If we bought a new one, but
Yeah.
if you bought something from auction, it's
Right,
an
you won't
as
get
is,
Buyer
like
beware.
buying a new.
Yeah.
We all set
And
on
then
that.
the only other thing was, I'm not sure, I don't know if we've even heard back, but there was that grant, right? With that road money grant.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we won't hear back for a little bit.
That would be the only other,
I thought, is that the one you were talking about, maybe purchasing a grader? Is that another?
yeah, that was the same one.
Same one.
But every town around applied for it. So
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
$250,000 that you could use for things like this.
Mm-hmm.
anything to do with dirt roads. So, I mean, if that grant possibly came through, then there's a possibility that we could do that, go through that avenue.
And then what would happen is if you could find out, how could, it's just
I
that
don't know
running.
I don't even know when you find out about those.
I don't know, they haven't told us.
Yeah, I mean, it could be months before we hear about the grant thing, but I don't.
I mean, it could always have it there, and if the grant came through, all this would have to do is, if we go through a special town meeting, is just release these funds from this particular capital project.
Right.
I would really like to have you pursue something that you might be able to get from an auction first, if you could. And, I mean, if this comes through, I still would like to have you do that if possible.
Oh, yeah, no, I look all the time on those sites. I mean,
Appreciate that, really.
more so for trucks that run. I mean, that's.
Well, that would be nice.
Or like snowplows, I mean, the snowplows are, I mean, to buy a new snowplow right now is like 25,000, but I can find them on the auctions or whether it's the auctions or like the Craigslist sites, I mean, you can find some of those for $1,500 that suit our needs for 3 or 4 years compared to going and buying one for $25,000, today's price at the dealership, so.
There's enough, no, I'm good right now.
Is everybody good on that one? Okay.
Yep.
So the heavy lift gate, that's the next capital.
That's a lift gate that we want to just install. It's for picking up like oil barrels. It's more of a safety thing.
Safety thing, okay.
It installs right on where the tailgate is on the back of our truck. You take the tailgate, it comes completely off, and the gate slides underneath the frame. But it comes right down to the ground, and then you can put catch basin covers, things like that. You're down at ground level. You can wheel them onto the lift gate and pick it up to put it in the truck.
Now, is this interchangeable with other trucks, or you just have a specific
It wouldn't
truck?
probably be. It depends if you bought the same body, because
Okay.
it's it will be cut to width of the body.
Okay, so it's for one
spec
particular truck,
Yeah, but
yeah.
if I got a new, I mean, like the body on our truck right
Yeah.
now is in really good shape. So if we did get a new truck down the road in a couple of years, you could possibly switch the body to save the money, is what we're hoping, as long as it doesn't rust out. And then that could just be switched over as well with it.
Which vehicle would this be
Our
installed on?
2017 350 we have to be going on.
Okay.
When is that slated to be?
That was
replaced?
slated to be done a couple of years ago, but there's only 35,000 miles on it, and it's in good shape and it's running really good.
Okay.
So I haven't pursued to ship it out. It's been treating us very well, so.
That's good, I'm glad it is.
Yeah.
I bet you if you found a 30-year-old truck sitting someplace with 30,000 miles on it, you'd buy it in a heartbeat.
I would,
Because it would have
Because you
old
could work on it.
technology.
Yeah. Could
because you
work
could
on
work
it,
on
yeah.
it. There's no doubt. You can still, the problem being now you're finding hard to get parts for the older stuff. But there's several junkyards out there that you can buy parts, and it all depends on brands. That's why a lot of people don't want you. You take a Mack truck, for instance, a Mack truck, you can still find parts all over the United States for them. You take an international truck, and
No.
none of the parts retrofit like the Macks do and stuff. And the Mac's a little more expensive, and I mean that's what we're getting now. The new truck that we're waiting on, they're a little more expensive up front, but at the end of the day, you can find stuff that is interchangeable all the time on them. That's why that one that we ended up buying actually worked out really good. The brush debris truck that we have.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was an older Mac, and I go buy anything for it, in reasonable priced.
Perfect.
So
Okay, and we all set with the lift? I guess the 75,000
I
stabilization.
just had put that number in there. I just I'm similar to what the fire department talked about, the cost
Yeah.
of these vehicles. And then when I come in here and ask for 400,000 or 500,000,
Yeah,
I think it's something we should look into. Was a possibility, and I mean, I just had put that in for a number to get started on. I mean, it could be 50, it could be 25. It's a little bit of something between the cost of, I mean, anything we got to replace. I mean, our graders are 400,000, the loaders are over 200, almost 300,000 now. And the trucks, obviously the one truck we're waiting on right now, the big truck is 400,000, so another few years when we need another one, that's gonna be 450 probably, 475, the way they're jumping in price.
I'm used to working with capital stabilization funds, but they're usually in one pot and then divvied out among the different departments. So I mean, it's probably just a discussion to have. Is it best to have each department having their own capital stabilization, or coming up with a plan to have one and figuring out how to divvy it up? So,
Yeah, because we
but
do
it is a
have,
good point to bring it up.
we do have a stabilization fund for that purpose, but we usually use that for stuff that comes unexpected sometimes. But we do have some funds in there, so we could probably partially fund it, but it still takes 2/3 of a vote to take it out of any stabilization fund.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it gets a little bit more dicey if you had so many stabilization funds out there, so.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is the fire department stabilization is not funded. It exists, but it's
It
not
exists.
Yeah, we
funded.
haven't,
Yeah.
yeah, we haven't,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
still on the table, but you're right, we have not, or they have not asked for any funds to be put into it.
Yeah,
And again, we are only a recommending body, we do not, we are not the decision makers as far as that. The taxpayers of the town of Northfield are the decision makers.
You know, I mean, and that's why I put off the truck this year too, cause I wanna look into it more. I think we should, in our case, with the problems that we're having, look more into leasing.
I think we had a discussion on that one time.
Yeah.
The cost of leasing, you'd have one line item, and if it was less than what you were, it'd be spread over a few years.
And they are coming out with some new, that's why I put off this year, I was supposed to ask to replace the 07 truck we have, but they've got different leasing things they're coming out
Right.
with. For instance, you can get a 5-year lease with a 5-year warranty, so all you have to do is change the tires and the oil. Anything else is the responsibility of the leasing company. So if the truck breaks down, and the biggest argument that the other towns around have had is the truck goes there, but then you're waiting for a month or 2 months for parts. But they're trying to come up with a lease where they have to, if they're gonna have your truck more than a day, especially this time of year, it's not so much in the summer, they have to have a vehicle for you
Ready
to
for you.
use. So that's why didn't propose a new truck this year, and I was gonna propose, I
Doing
wanna
something
get some
like
more
that.
information on the leases and everything, so everybody knows about it and how they work, and, cause a lot of towns are definitely considering after what we're all going through.
So, I don't know, maybe you or Andrea, leasing, if we lease something, is that considering like a borrowing?
Yes, it is. We
Okay,
used to do it in Orange, and I had to put it on the debt schedule when we leased. So,
You're gonna put it over, you're gonna lease it over a certain number of years.
But,
You didn't have to
yeah,
lease
then it was
you didn't have
ours
to lease to
after.
purchase.
yeah, lease to purchase, then after that, it was ours. But,
which is, I hear, is not a bad thing to have,
yeah,
so.
A lot of towns do it.
yeah. I
I
do
just
know
think
it
the
goes
way
on
the
this
trucks are
debt
getting, the
schedule.
wiring systems, the computer
Yeah.
systems, the elements that we're out in with the salt and stuff, it doesn't help anything. And you can wash, you can oil, and now some of the problems that we've been supposedly having with a couple of our trucks, because we oil our trucks, is we oil them too much. They're saying it's hurting the wiring, it's soaking into the
Yeah.
wiring, it's soaking into the box on the computer if we get too close to it. They say that can be causing some of our problems too. So we're trying to maintain our trucks so they last longer, but now they're telling us what we're using
Could be a detriment.
is,
Yeah.
is detriment to the truck, so.
So, are you requesting this article, or are you just throwing that out to see?
Well, I would request it if it would be put on there. I mean, it's not something
Okay.
that has to be. I just brought it forth to get the ball rolling on it.
Okay,
That would be up to the select board.
right.
Is that something that I'm looking ahead to your 2030, where I see your grader for $600,000 coming up.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard in conversations with departments that these stabilization accounts are a great way for you to accumulate some of these funds, and so, to your point, request way fewer dollars. Is this something that you would anticipate them just building into an annual, like, request?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah, so-
$50,000 to
Yeah. That's,
to
the
keep
yeah,
it going?
yeah.
Okay.
So we add a little each year.
Yeah.
Or whatever we can afford. If we can afford something, it's nice to have it. And then, you know, like I said, it's, say there's 100,000 in there, then you need a new truck. It's maybe only 300 you need, or a loader or something like that. It's not easy for anybody. I know. The cost of the trucks. I mean, it just. When people tell me what the cost of something's gonna be when I call now, I cringe from what I mean, back in '05, we paid 140,000 for the same truck that we're waiting on right now, that's 400,000, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the quality of it, it's not gonna last like the '05 did,
Yeah.
that's what gets to me a lot, bothers me. And I'm a taxpayer as well, and I don't like to spend any more money than I need to, but. You also gotta have equipment that runs when you need it to run, so.
Yeah.
So this would probably require 2 articles, an article to establish, and then if you wanted to put money in, the amount to put in there, so it'd be 2 articles. If nothing else, just to create the stabilization fund, that'd be something you would ask for, and then not put a dollar amount in here, see how that works out for next, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll pass that on to the select board.
okay.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Tom.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you. Okay, next up, Board of Health and Transfer Station. Okay, we'll do transfer station. No, I'm glad, no, you gotta get those questions out there. Oh, okay, transfer station. Board of Health, transfer station. Okay, whenever you are ready, let us, let's see.
Would you want to go with transfer station or sewers? Because sewers are not very
Board of Health,
important.
yeah, Board of Health and,
Oh, Board of
Board of
Health,
Health.
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
David Balk, and, we're not doing any changes, nothing significant right now. I don't know what you've got for paperwork in front of you, but everything's pretty much holding the same. We have some accounts that are set aside that, meetings and trainings that we haven't been utilizing a lot recently, but we will be. I don't see any changes overall with the Board of Health requests and what's been allocated.
So it's basically level funded or very?
Yeah, just the normal, yeah, just normal. Yeah. So there's no real changes there. We're not asking for anything. The transfer station's where most of your questions would be, I'd imagine.
My reading?
That's your.
Yeah, we'll throw it over to the transfer station.
Well, we're asking for a little more money, which is decking that we talked about a couple of years ago. And we had requested 13,000, that was a quote from a company that was gonna provide the decking for us. The
So
decking is
That's
what,
a capital project, capital expense?
what's that?
The decking is capital.
There's a cap.
Yeah, we're just going over the budget, then we'll move over to capital.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your budget looks like it's gone up about 20,000. Part of it is wages. And then if you could explain some of the other increases, there's 5,000 in other purchasing services.
What do you wanna,
Pardon me?
what do you wanna discuss?
Which one? That one?
You want
Transfer
the
station, other purchases?
other purchase services?
Okay?
The-
Other purchase
Purchase
service.
service.
Went up
39.
5,000.
Did you print out your new one? You didn't. This is
No.
the one they're looking at. They're looking at these 2 lines where you have 2 increases. Which is other purchased services. And then you had 10,000 here, I think that was compactor work. That one I made a note of. But you had, this is the notes you had for other purchase services, and this was for the 10,000, so 5 and 10. Those are the notes I have, you must have sent them to me. So, speak to those.
What we're having a real problem with are rats, and that was part of the pest control. And we were talking about potentially up to $5,000. The rats are completely out of control.
I heard they had at least 50 that were killed the other day, or they got, one of the guys is over there.
Yeah, the real issue, in my view, is that we don't want them in the new building. The little buildings we have there,
Okay.
there's the shack, the little small shack. Under that's an electrical room. That's totally disgusting. The rats have taken over.
Oh.
They've eaten through the walls, they're in the ceiling, they carry little piles of stone, rubble in, and build nests and things. It's completely insane. We've had a guy that's doing everything he can to eradicate them, but it's not good. They're in the compactor boxes, and they can hear them in there running around. We don't know where they've come from or why this year. We discussing it with Tom. I'm gonna have to rip down all the buildings, the little buildings. That was the tool library. It's in one of those areas. You couldn't even go in. You couldn't
Yeah,
go in, and it
that's
was
what I've heard.
disgusting. I'm worried about at the end is the reuse shed, and I hope that's not gonna have to come down, but we may have to remove all. And the issue is to keep them out of the new building. So you're showing me this lifespan. Well,
I'm sorry, can you remind me your name?
Bob McEwen,
Bob, thank you.
sorry.
So I know who I'm talking to. Thank you.
I kind of manage the place for the Board of
Kinda,
Health.
you,
You do, yeah.
you do.
Kind of. So I don't know what I'm asking for. You've seen the new building possibly we put up there.
Yeah.
And I've taken some people in there and said, here, what do you think of that? Oh, great. And they've said, I love this. I love to see our tax money spent well. I said, but it's not your tax money. That was money that I tell people I saved. And they say, it was your money? I said, no, it wasn't my money. But I was on the Board of Health for a long time. And we used to make a lot of money from recyclables. We got money back for years. We made $40 or $50 a ton for what we got rid of. And so we saved that money, and we have spent that now on the new building. The building will probably total around $150,000, which is money we had. And we still have some in a revolving fund. That is what it was called. One of the problems, so there's 4 compactors, machines under the decking. If you look between the new building and the old shack, you walk on those boards, and they're getting in bad shape. But water and salt at times and things go down and rot out the machinery, because there's a big machine between the compactor box and the pavement. And so we're talking about ways to replace that decking. That's why I came up with the 13,000, but we're probably not gonna address that then. Pest control and
then the
So,
compactor's up about 10,000. Is just cost or?
we were talking to the people that wanna put up solar panels everywhere, and they'd like to use where we are.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that, except I would like them to put them up over the decking. Build a structure that would have solar panels, and we could direct rainwater and snow melt and things away from the machinery. And I don't know if that'll happen. I'm not prepared to to ask for money for that, but we were gonna do a decking change. We were gonna put a different thing up. It was gonna cost 13,000. Instead of boards, it would be a metallized structure. But it would still be water leaking through into the machinery, which is a huge issue. So I sound pretty confused, but that's Tom and I have been talking. We're gonna rip up the boards. They're able to come up, they're put together, and we can remove them and service the machinery. We've been spending a lot of money on machinery going down because the rats have been eating the electrical wires. So we're putting new wires in, they're all sheathed, they have a metal, structure around them. It's just, getting to the point where it's hard to know what to ask for. I'm not asking for money to get rid of the buildings, because I think we can handle that, Tom. And the highway crew will handle that like they handled this building next door. So Andrea is showing me this way, I asked for 10 and 3,
No, I
10 and
think
5.
because you originally were going to ask for a capital request for a new compactor and decided that maybe you would actually just do more maintenance. And like you said, some of the wiring and stuff underneath as opposed to replacing it at this time. So I think that was,
Oh, so it's
So that's
not
what
a
the
new
$10,000
one.
Oh, I
is.
see.
so it's not a new one, no.
Oh,
This would,
okay,
this would
existing.
be work
Okay.
that he could do on existing
Okay,
compactor as
so
opposed to
maintenance,
replacing it at this time.
replacement, okay.
Gotcha, okay,
Okay.
that's why it's
Right
in
here,
there.
right
Okay.
I'm understanding.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The 10,000
okay.
for the compactor, he's not buying a new one.
So this decking, as
That's
far
why
as,
it's not-
you think, is it gonna be like you see on,
Which makes sense.
The new one's closer
boat,
to 20.
you know?
Well, it could be
metal,
like
aluminum
around a
decking?
pool or
Yeah, yeah.
a dock that goes out into
So
the
it'd
water,
be,
that kind of thing.
but the problem is it's still leaking through, so how can you divert that? How can you,
Is that a drainage issue?
I don't see an ideal situation at this point, without putting a roof over the,
Okay,
so are you talking putting a roof over just that area, or are you over the compactors themselves?
no, not the compactor boxes,
Just about,
just the decking.
Just
the
the
area
decking?
that,
okay.
underneath that are the
Yeah.
compactors.
then complement that with solar on top to help?
Well, that, they wanna put in solar, then I'll be happy to give them some money toward that, out of our budget, toward the structure, and then put your solar up there. I don't wanna see them put it on our new building, I don't like the roof being punctured and things like that.
So this would be kind of like what you see if you go down to the jail, where they have the cars parked under all these structures that have
Yep.
solar, except this would be a walkway, and it actually would cover over and
Okay.
protect some of the structure. And if you put solar panels on there and doing the right way, it probably would divert some of that water.
It doesn't have to be an awfully deep structure, because it would face south, and it doesn't have to go down over the compactor boxes. And when they haul those, they pick them up in the distant end and pull them out of a ways before they start to lift them up. So it would be eminently doable. It would be,
And also would protect the people that are working there too, because they're always open up to the elements and, going out and checking stuff.
that was real reason for this building. This building is gonna house them upstairs and downstairs, and it's two, sections. One is for our equipment, for the dumps equipment, everything we have. The other is for the tool library, and the tool library is essentially moved into there and gonna use that. But the building is a wonderful building, and I invite you all to see it at some point here. We did everything we could to make it energy efficient. It's insulated with blown-in insulation. It's insulated under the concrete with 3 or 4 inches of foam. It's a wonderful job. It's a great building, and I think the people will be very happy in there. It was great these last few days that they've worked with this temperature. They had a warm place.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bathroom in there, handicapped accessible bathroom, that we are supposed to have for the clientele as well. There's an eye wash station,
Well, that's good.
just the
good,
same
yeah.
that we have down here in the men's room below. And that's also a critical area. We had little water bottles that would freeze in the shack, so. And
Now,
that
what's the bottom downstairs underneath it? What's that used for? It has garage doors on it and stuff.
it's half and half. Half of it is for us.
Okay.
The transfer station,
Yeah, yeah.
lawn tractors and all that. We have shovels and things. And the other half is the tool library.
Oh, so the two libraries can move over there?
Yeah, they've moved in there
Oh,
already.
they have, okay,
Yep.
all right.
And the only other thing was, well, we'll rip everything out of the electrical room that was down there. This has been costly because we had to get new electrical equipment, and we had to spend a lot on wiring, and we're still doing that. The electrical component is an expensive issue. The VFDs that we have, we don't have three-phase power going by, so we have to have VFDs, a variable frequency device that adjusts the frequency of the electricity, and those were hugely expensive. And we thought about rebuilding them. There have been problems with them, but the electricians and people have just said, no, they're obsolete. They're just too old. I mean, ask Tom, they've been there for how long?
So is that something gonna have to be replaced, that you?
We've done that.
You have it, okay. all right.
We have an electrical room
Yep,
upstairs.
yep.
No.
Okay, so that's been taken care of. That
I do
issue's-
I invite you all to come by and see it.
I think, well, there's 3
And
days a
you'll-
week there,
well,
probably
you're
everybody in this
correct.
room has been by there, so.
You'll say, wow.
No, it is, it's a great structure, so.
My dream initially, a long time ago, was to handle a lot of this ourselves and Tom. And we would, that was when we were making money on it. And we could have done a great job with that, but China and the Green Sword and different things, the way things have changed, it's costing us an awful lot of money now to get rid of that. It costs us to truck it and do things, but we're paying huge money for them to accept it from us, the recyclables, all that. It's
Yeah.
just such a different world than it was a few years ago. So we decided to just spend this money on a building that would be more in line with what we needed.
Do you think there's a need to increase the sticker prices?
Well, you were always arguing with me when you were downstairs to charge more for bags, charge more for everything. What I was very happy about was that we didn't do that. And I see that as a very slippery slope with people. If we could just get a little more, if we could just do this, do that. And people go with haulers now, AGH and different people. That's a lot of money. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
This is the cheapest thing around. You get a ticket, the yearly sticker for $20. You pay cheap money for bags. You can take so much else there. If you had a hauler, you couldn't take your white goods there, your old bicycle, whatever. It's really a pretty remarkable facility. And we could do that. I'm not a big
No, I
fan.
just bringing it up because people have been coming in and been saying, oh, wow, it's only this, it's only that. I know that when I first started, it was $5, and that was way ridiculous. And then it's been $20 for,
I was gonna ask how
20
long has it
years.
been?
no, it hasn't been, it's been for at least 15 years. It's been $20.
It used to be
More
more
than that.
expensive.
Yeah, it used to be
When
50.
Kathy and the Board of Health elected, and that was just before I think I came on.
Yeah, right, it's right before you come up.
They decided to, what was it called?
Pay as you throw.
Yeah, pay as you throw. Pay as you throw was remarkable. What it saved in terms of weight and what would the town get rid of and various things. And it was $20 or $25 for a sticker then. When they reduced it, when they went to pay as you throw, and I didn't agree, I wasn't on the board then, but didn't agree with the decision to go to $5. Because people then said, why $5? Why can't I just go in there? And it was kind of silly.
I think
So-
the only reason why is you want to kind of limit it to your own town, and because that's
Well,
the main
obviously.
reason. Yeah. So
No, but why 5? Why not 20 or 30 or?
Sure,
There
yeah.
are other towns, most of these
Yeah.
other towns, Amherst and various towns, $60, $70.
exactly, exactly.
So
So
I think at that time, there was some transitional things where people were concerned about if it cost too much for a sticker, cost too much for bags, then it would be on the side of the road or in the woods. I think that was some of the cons to raising the price of the stickers too high.
I think the other
You
thing
have
I-
illegal
yeah.
dumping and.
I think the other thing I have asked over the years, and I thank you for it as far as doing that, but people don't realize that $20 goes right into the general fund. That it helps offset everybody's taxes by doing that. So it's
Well, in the bags as well.
Yep, that all goes into the general fund. So that's not something that you guys have. It helps
Okay.
to decrease the taxes, so I think people don't understand that.
Cost of operating the transfer station.
Yeah, we could, yeah, it does, because when you come back and ask for stuff, we are more lenient because we know that you've contributed at least 20,000 or more, well, just for the stickers, I know, over $20,000 a year just in stickers, so.
But the only thing is costs are going up to run the
Yeah.
transfer
This is
station.
true.
And if
I'm
you haven't
shocked looking
increased
at
the,
the numbers now. I'm looking at budget numbers and saying, well, what the hell? I feel like I've been asleep for 10 years. The world is so different,
No kidding.
so quickly. It's terrifying to me. And hearing Tom talk about the trucks and what's made today is junk. I'm sorry, but most of the things are junk. I'm trying to buy a washer, a clothes washer. Well, expect to get 5 or 6 years out of it. I have a Frigidaire front loader that I've had for 20, 25 years.
Make 'em like that.
It's just,
Just out of curiosity, when was the last price increase on the bags for the transfer station?
I don't remember one.
I don't think it
I
is,
don't
but
think
it's
there
what,
is.
$1 for the big ones and like,
no, it's $1.50 for the large ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
I
get
think
15.
70,
like
75
15, yeah.
for the
Like
small bag.
$1.50.
So
No,
it's,
it's
yeah,
$1.50
10 for 15, because that's how
Yeah.
we usually buy them, yeah.
But the thing though is the bags, as long as I can remember, have been the same price.
They have not changed.
The only thing I have to say is that
Well-
I agree with trying to keep it
That's a
affordable for our
Right.
residents, but we also can't go 10, 20 years when the cost of running the operation is going up.
Well,
We
so,
have
like,
to think.
Here's the question though, like, those bags cost Northfield money to buy
Correct.
and then resell. We've got to be getting close to that being almost a
They're pretty cheap, aren't
level.
they?
No, they're not.
I think I'd asked you this time as far as, was it cheaper for the bags or was it cheaper to have stickers? And you said it was about the same. Is that still the same?
What's that?
Like,
Stickers
you
for
could get a
bags.
sticker instead of a bag and everybody, you could put. a
You'd
30
make more money if you increased the bag fees.
Okay.
The bags are in the range of 25 cents a piece. Was Mims and Jody's, the IGA. They're the only two vendors, and Jody makes 15 cents a bag. So you buy 10, they make $1.50.
Yeah.
It's not a bad deal. This is our dirty laundry here. We make a little more from the large bags, selling the large bag than the small. If anything, I'd say forget the small bags, and people aren't buying many of them. But there's a lot less money to be from the small
Well,
bags.
yeah, step in, I know there's a lot, we had that before, the people were actually asking for smaller bags, which was crazy. So I remember that coming into the
Well,
board meetings, so.
people, some of
And I don't know,
these,
I think looking into pricing of neighboring towns and the relation to that, I mean, that's something that we should do as far as
I have
access.
done that, and I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Like you said, access stickers
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean,
into the transfer
And
station,
what,
bags, or like you were referring to stickers on the bags versus just the bags.
years ago when we used to have clear ones, one of the reasons why I had clear ones to make sure people were recycling.
right.
Well, we went to a colored bag, that went away. And then the worry was people are going to put, 45-gallon bags and throw them in there and do it. Well, they'd either do that. I don't think it would matter much as far as doing that. But if I had a small kitchen bag, I'd slap one of those things on it rather than taking that small kitchen bag and put it into a green bag, which I usually do. So I would just, you probably had a wasting stickers, or you put one on a small and two on a large or something like that. That's just
There's
handling.
a couple of towns that do that, but I'm gonna tell you, and this is not nice, but a lot of people will cheat. And they might not put a sticker on and throw a bag in there. So if you have a black trash bag you buy at Walmart, you're paying more for that bag than you're actually paying for the
You're right.
bag.
You're right.
Yeah, it's a labor intensive for the attendants
Well,
over
it's
there because
impossible.
they have to look for the sticker
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
the big blue bag going in or the
Yep.
big
Yeah.
small blue
I mean,
bag.
that's an original color, there's no other.
They-
is,
yeah,
there is, you're
they,
correct.
they know right away, they could be 100 feet away and know you're doing the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
thing. So there's some advantages of having the bags.
But the only thing is though, we shouldn't go 10, 15, 20 years without an increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not,
Because they haven't gone 10, 15 years with the pickup costs and
yes.
disposal
As
costs.
costs have gone up to run the transfer station, that's sort of like got some of other departments here in trouble. by not increasing the prices to take care of infrastructure, not taking care of a lot of the costs involved, and then we get into trouble later. My thing is that I'm not saying every year go up, but we should be looking every 3 to 5 years that we should be increasing the price of the access sticker and potentially go up like 50 cents a bag.
Like you said, you're gonna look around, see what the other towns are gonna do, and that's a decision Board of Health has to make, right, with the cost.
Or
Transfer station,
Yeah.
So that's- yeah.
But again, we can't go 10, 15, 20 years anymore. That's kind of ridiculous. We should be looking
Why
every
is it
3.
ridiculous to give people a break, to not charge people the maximum for everything?
I'm not saying the maximum. What I'm saying is,
They just pay for it on the tax rate.
yeah,
They're still getting paid to charge.
Yeah.
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 But I'm
and-
saying, looking every 3 to 5 years, should you increase the price so that you can cover the costs? You can't go 10, 15, 20 years at the same price. We've had other departments get into trouble over that, not in trying to, in their mind, give a break to the people, and then they get their department in trouble that infrastructure's not replaced. The costs are starting to exceed the revenue they're intaking. That's what you have to look at. You can't just say, well, I want to give everybody a break. Well, we have to keep this thing that it can operate on the money it takes. You know what I mean? We have to be reasonable at looking at, everything has gone up in price. And again, I just can't see running an operation and not increasing the cost when everything else is going. Your tipping fees are going up. Everything is going up. The labor that you have for the people who are working there goes up. You just can't.
Recycling
Probably
fees
would
have
never
gone
be
down.
able to get
Recycling-
enough to.
No.
No, what I'm
You're
not.
right. You're right,
I'm not
especially with
asking.
the private haulers that are coming into town.
Oh, yeah.
People are obviously willing to spend more money.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
We're gonna pay 60
I have
cents
several
a month.
people on my road are using private haulers now.
Yeah.
Because why? They don't want to bother going out there. They don't have the time or want to make the effort to go to the transfer station. For me, it's not a problem,
No.
but you're starting to see several on my street have private haulers.
Again, I would just check around, and we're not talking anything significant.
No,
Like,
no.
People
Yeah.
were coming in and wanted to give me $25. And I said no. I had to send a couple of back, and they sent me a
Jump in there.
check, so I had to send it back.
Working on it. So I have a basic question followed by maybe a more complicated question. I see tipping fees. I don't explicitly know what tipping fees are. I can extrapolate, but why would I assume when you can tell me? And then I don't have to look silly. So what does a tipping fee do?
It's what we pay the MRF or the people that take the material from us.
Okay.
Tipping fee is what it costs to get, you've got two streams. One stream is garbage or municipal solid waste, and the other is the MRF, is the recyclables. And the recyclables have gone up a lot more. It's more money to get rid of recyclables than it is to get rid of solid waste now. Solid waste has gone to different places. It went to Bonnie's Island, it went various places. It goes to New York now, a landfill in New York. That's becoming an issue. How many landfills there are, how far things have to be hauled.
Okay.
Glass used to be handled, some of it in Massachusetts. And glass is a wonderful product. You can melt it down and make all this.
Yeah.
Then they've been selling glass to Canada and making insulation out of it. But to move these materials this way is insane. I probably shouldn't talk out of school. I just remember.
So my second question with that is I see the allocated amount versus the amount that is spent has a pretty substantial difference. I see, so for FY25, the allocated amount was 51,000 and the amount spent was a little less than 7,700. And then I see the amount spent as of FY26, well, in November, so take that with a grain of salt, is about 2,300 out of that 51,000. I like the way that I see your bottom line working out is you definitely got it sorted well.
One thing that happened is I came before this august group, or an august group here, and this was when COVID was happening. the state is our biggest problem. The state demands this and that. The state was saying, oh no, you can't pay the drivers of these trucks, the hauling companies, $20 an hour or in the 20s. You have to pay them Boston scale. Completely insane. Truck drivers in Boston make a lot of money. And Jan had to go to the district we belong to, would go and fight it in court and things. And eventually they didn't back down. We didn't know where anything was going with COVID, so I came in, I asked for a lot of increase. That's where there was a real jump. If you looked at this, you know, it would be interesting of all these years, Andrea. Could we do that, see what the budget was through all the years?
We'd have to do some research, but if you look at transfer station other purchase services, budgeted 75, spending 46. So I'm wondering if there isn't some allocation going on there. If you look at 25, fiscal 25.
And what about it?
Well, it said transfer station other purchase services, $7,500. At the end of the year, you expended 46,000.
Yeah.
So there may be some things being assigned to different line items that maybe the thought process is it's going to that line item instead of the other one.
Yeah, well, I know that this one too, Bob had explained, was a lot of the pest control. And so
Right.
it's good you have that budget, right, to be able to say, oh, I only spent 7,900. So there's still money in the general transfer station funds. But I guess my curiosity is, if you don't need $51,000 for your tipping fees, can that money be allocated elsewhere or taken away?
It
Dare
can
I
be.
say?
It can be.
Were these two items flip-flopped though? Was this
Yeah,
flipped
that's
with-
not right. The
with that
7,500 is
just
not right.
Exceed their bottom line.
And 46.
No,
I
I
know.
think, I'm
These
questioning.
these two here.
Right, I'm questioning whether there's
Yeah.
a switch, somehow
Yeah.
switch between
That's what
those
happened.
two accounts. One's at 75, and spent 76, the other one's 51 and maybe spent
So flip-flop.
46. I think
Yeah.
somehow
They got
those,
flip-flop?
I can ask Aaron and see what
That's
happened.
what happened, they got coded.
It just
wrong
looks
on
to
them.
me like those are
Got
in the
flipped.
wrong
Flip-flop.
line
Yeah.
items.
Yeah, that's exactly what
So I'll
happened.
see what's happening, maybe it's on your sheet and you're just filling it in, and maybe we have the wrong count numbers, because you're just submitting the same sheet, you know what I mean?
Well, this is something I've talked to you about and I've talked to Aaron about. When I get bills, I'm paying bills for yeah, I hear you.
So we can look at that.
But I'm paying
But it
bills
seems to
to
me
the
there's a
district,
flaw.
Probably
the
what
Frank County Solid Waste District. They front all these expenses. Now we have to pay them on our 2-week cycle. And, so a bill comes in and it's on the same sheet from them for hauling and for the hauling and for the materials. So I pay it out of an account and it's not breaking them down to maybe the way it could be broken down or should be. And that might be a little easier to see and to understand. So, yeah, this is not correct though. It's not 7,500 and that's 46,000 spent. That's not.
Okay, yeah, I think it flipped
Yeah.
or something, yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah,
That's
something
okay.
got flipped.
It all does work out in the bottom line,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line too, it's, at the end of the year, monies can be allocated differently, just not to salary, I think, that's the only thing. The salaries, wages, you can't borrow,
Lock and stone.
take from other places, but
You got another question?
the other things we can.
I just have one question, if we could step back to the capital project request, the 48,000. If I'm looking at your second page down, it breaks down what comprises that 48. I'm sorry?
Two of those, if you look at the updated capital request sheet, he's withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
Whoop, it's gone.
The new compactor was
did that
withdrawn.
Last
He's
week's
not
meeting?
asking for the
What?
VFDs
Last
or the,
week's meeting?
compactor, he's asking for
what
the
did I do with
cameras
mine?
and the decking.
It's looking for security cameras and decking.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
okay, so what's been withdrawn, the new compactor?
The new compactor.
Compactors, those PFD.
Oh,
Yeah,
and okay, so
No, this one.
BFDs, okay,
So it's
security
just the
cameras are
decking
still
and the
there?
camera.
Cameras and the decking.
So, okay, cameras and the decking, so that's 25 instead of 48. Right?
Yeah.
So that's only 25,000. Okay, thank you. That answers that question.
the all set, Lindsay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any,
Just other one question.
Yeah.
What is the need for the security cameras there? Have you had issues there at the property?
Say again?
I said,
Security
What is
cameras.
the need for the security cameras? Have you had issues at the property?
We've had them cameras before, we've had lightning strikes, different things. Tom got some bids for his facility and for ours, and ours were 6,500 to 7,000, so that's what,
But yes, we had problems there before.
Yeah.
Yeah, people coming in, climbing into the scrap metal and pulling that out.
Okay.
how long does the data stay on the security camera?
what's that?
The
If
security
you,
cameras.
yeah, if you got broken into, how long does that stay on the security camera before you download it?
Well, we would like to have that. We've had cameras up on the post.
Right.
I don't want to be saying.
No, it's short, they had a short period of time that they held the information.
You have to download
But the
them.
new ones
Go to the
are
cloud.
going to be much longer than that, probably
Yeah.
30 days, are they hope?
Oh,
Notice?
they
new
can
ones.
Goes
hold
like
the
into a
information
cloud
for a while, but
storage.
So, my question on
they
that,
have to work.
who reviews them and who then takes the initiative to,
Respond?
yeah. So if you see somebody who's trespassing, you might not see it for a couple of days later. Do you then call the police and say, hey, check this guy out?
I'm worried about somebody going in there and doing evil. The new building, if people think there's something worth stealing, the bags, the cases of bags, they were stealing potentially to someone. And we're keeping those in the new building now. They were locked in a trailer
Okay.
before pretty securely. But they're gonna be in this building, and I'd like to have,
I guess the notification, I mean, I'm interpreting the notification would go to you and Tom.
which
Yes.
would,
If you had, it would be like,
That
it'd be like a
incident
ring camera, I
happened.
would
Yeah,
imagine.
the
Yeah.
signal goes off
Here's a
and somebody's
motion
in there.
detector, and then
Yeah.
you notify whoever needs to be on that list. I mean, it could be,
but we had somebody,
yeah, it could be, go to your
Yeah,
cell
go
phone
to
and.
phone.
somebody come up and accused one of the workers of stealing something out of their car. And they went to the car to help them, they never entered the car. And there was a camera that displayed that. Some of it's to
Protect.
Oh, yeah.
protect,
Protect, yeah.
and if there was a collision, people are angry too that we only allow 4 vehicles in there at a time. And they say, hey, that's, you know. Looking at the cameras we had before, the security camera, I had it on fast, on a speed. It looked like the Keystone Cops.
Oh, yeah.
The vehicles and the people walking, it was like, oh my God. And so to keep it safe is our concern.
Yeah.
It's the same with snow and these things now. People are angry if we don't open. So I'm asking potentially 80-year-old guys to come in at 11 o'clock at night and shovel snow. That's something that's disturbed me for a time. But someone was angry the other day. We didn't open until 10. And I did that, my decision, because of the weather. And so someone didn't have to go there at 6:30 a.m. and open. I thought, who's going to be there dumping trash at 6:30 a.m.? Well, somebody was complaining about it.
I have a suggestion for that. If they close the school or have a delay at school, as far as when you guys are.
That used to be, yeah, if the
that-
school was late opening, we would be late opening. If the school closed, but it doesn't help on the weekend. Friday, Saturday is when we're open. And I can't put anything on the internet, on the website.
Because it's one of the last ones that get done. If it's snowing, that's not gonna get done. So I would say if it's snowing out there, the transfer station is not open. If you've got a foot of snow, it's not open.
If they're plowing.
Yeah, if they're plowing,
Well,
it's not
what
open.
about this last Saturday? It snowed, it was supposed to snow all day. It depends when these storms are, if we can get ahead of that. The problem is, people used to use common sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, people should have common sense and figure it out.
They
It
don't.
would be nice,
You
it
know,
would be nice.
But anyway, we could, I mean, if the weather seems that it's gonna snow and that, or if it looks like the plows are plowing, it is closed. I mean, we
How do you
can't say
notify
that,
them?
but
Also,
we have to,
it'd be-
something the select board will have to come up and make
Also,
it.
it'd be easier if it could be
Oh, I
posted.
can say
Yeah,
anything, I
no.
can say anything, I can close it in a
70%.
heartbeat. I manage it, and I would close it, like I did the other day. The problem is you have to give people notice.
Yeah.
And I don't do anything on next door and never have. That's not a good thing to me. The website, if Sandra puts it on the website, but that's on Wednesday for a Friday, or
Yeah.
Thursday for a Friday.
You're gonna have people upset whether you close or
Exactly,
you don't.
exactly.
And it's always, somebody's gonna be.
You're not gonna make everybody happy.
We have people saying, why is it not open on 4th of July, or why is it not open on Labor Day, and why is it not open on Veterans Day?
just
Some of these
not.
things that are national holidays, people are asking us why the transfer station isn't open. It's,
The
it just
question
shows
should
you
be,
that's-
why would you wanna go to the dump on 4th of July?
It's
That should be the question.
it's that type of people. I
Yeah.
mean, things have changed. They
Yeah.
They
don't,
do.
common sense is lost sometimes.
I'm sorry, I'm losing.
Any other questions? You guys wanna get to sewer, right?
Yeah, they would like to.
Yeah, I think so.
I appreciate we
Thank
all got
you so
you
much.
guys coming in.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
fire some any
But-
questions.
I'd like to come back, other than this stuff, and talk with all you guys. And discuss it, and we could discuss issues of cost, and
Yeah.
I would love to have you
Most
back.
definitely.
That would be great, that would be great.
I'm not as unreasonable as I sound.
You sound perfectly reasonable.
I just don't wanna, I wanna give something that's a bargain to some people.
My thing is, again, is that municipalities also aren't charities. We have to pay for our bills.
Well, it's a lot more
Be
money
a good
now.
discussion.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bob.
Can we accomplish anything?
Yes, thank you.
I'm gonna get a new notebook soon. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
That's exciting.
Really
Yeah,
exciting.
right.
Is it exciting?
A
Exciting?
little bit because it's gonna be incomplete. I'll have to bring two notebooks for a while. And then we'll have to actually keep one around for reference for a little while.
Okay.
Didn't think about that.
It's bound to happen.
Yep. It would be cool if they were like travel journals. That would be fine. And then I could just put it away.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Where do you want me, behind you?
Sit right here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay, we good to go here?
Hang on a minute, 'cause we got a quorum.
Okay.
All right.
And just to make sure that I'm reading the right document.
Sure.
Okay.
I gave him a new one, yes. Okay, we'll go over that.
Okay.
Here, you're taking
She was
notes.
the one she just picked out.
No,
Yeah.
it's not dramatic, we just, few tweaks. Please
That's
speak.
perfect.
Okay.
Okay, you wanna call your board to order, or?
Where's B?
She's
He just went outside, but I'll tell her that you.
Because we don't have a quorum without B.
Ah.
He's,
Oh, that's right, yeah,
check.
you're not on the board, are you?
Today's the
You
Alright.
said that with such a smile on your face. eh?
That's it. The only thing Isaac says all night.
I think.
Fair enough.
I'll sit right here. Okay, you right there, B? Yeah. All right, it's 7:29 and I'm calling it to order. We have with us from the Sewer Commission, Bernie Boudreau, Karen Boudreau, and B. Jacques, and Chief Isaac Golding.
Okay, wanna welcome the group here, and thank you for coming and taking time to be with us to explain your budget.
Okay, so you're gonna see these pages in here. I'm gonna go through some of the changes. I'm gonna go through things that we voted on. This page right here, all right, this is, and I'll go over the
Oh,
changes
that's
from
the-
each year.
okay, that's the
the
payroll.
payroll part.
Okay,
And then this and the back page is the operational,
okay.
okay?
What's going on?
There, what's that, Dan? You
Which one
good?
are you going over first? So I can
I'm
grab
gonna
it?
start with the payroll, all right? There's been a few changes from, minor changes, from our January 29th, vote on the total budget amount. We have a 2.8% COLA from you guys on the select board. As you know, the only way to create a budget reduction or to create a favorable budget is to either decrease people, decrease programs, decrease expenses, or increase revenue. Right?
Yep.
We've got 7 wage type line items in our budget, and some of the things that we did this year is we separated overtime. One of the questions that came up in the past couple of years, even with Danny and Tom on the commission, was why is overtime so high? Why is overtime so high? And we look at Isaac, and he'd be like, well, there was a lot of rain, there was a lot of snow, or there were unicorns or whatever. And what was happening in the payroll portion of this is that the 13 federal holidays, because that plan is open 7/24. He's got to go in, or Everett's got to go in, Sonny's got to go in. Those hours were actually being paid for out of overtime. When we think of overtime, as Dan and Tom were also thinking of overtime, we think of an alarm went off, a blower failed, a refrigerant failed, something like that. But there was actually 13 days of overtime pay that was in there. So we have separated it out. We've separated out this overtime, which is going forward, which is more task-based. And then in here, you will see holiday pay as a separate line item, so that it provides for better tracking. We even went so far as to take the previous years, and we said, okay, 22 through 27, if we took the overtime amounts, which we knew, and we took the 13 holidays, which we knew, and we subtracted them out, our overtime budget should have been in the low to mid 20,000s. I'm just giving you, I broke it out by year, but I'm just giving you a range. So that helps us really track this thing and manage it at a more detailed level. Our staffing, every year we write a love letter to the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, and we say, do we really need 2 operators? And they say, yes, you do. So we are going with we've tried a few things. We've tried part-times, we've tried different things. Hasn't worked out. We're going with superintendent, and we're going with a entry-level staffing position budgeted for a full-time assistant chief. If we find somebody that isn't assistant chief material but is good for a general operator, we have enough money in the budget to hire them. If we went with the lower line item, and we've had 2 people approach us about coming here as an assistant chief, we don't have it in the budget to pick them up. This way, there's a little extra in the budget, and we can hire either at that level or below that level. The other increases in here a little bit is our friend Everett Wickline, just after we passed the budget last year, called me and said, I retired, can I have more hours? I'm like, oh God, Everett. This year we officially have Evan here for 12 hours a week. There'll be some weeks that Ev will not be called in because there's not a need. And then there's going to be other weeks, like when Isaac was brush hogging, that Ev was in running the plant every day. And then Sam is in here as 5 hours a week on weekend, and he gets called in when needed. Our overtime is at 28,000 this year, which falls in line. You know, you talk about stepping costs around, not increasing things. If in previous years it was around the mid-20s, coming in at 28 now is not outrageous. It's not like it was 14 and now it's 28. On call is at 20,000 this year, 20,075, and that is the biggies that we've better task management, better expense management going forward with the budget. Questions?
Yes.
Sure.
I can see Robin. Of course I do. Because I'm trying to draw this up to this.
Okay. All right.
Am I on step 2? Do
Yeah,
I need
you're
to
on
wait my
step
turn?
2,
Okay,
yeah.
then I'll wait my turn.
Okay, so we will get to taking that and stuffing it into the top rows of this.
Okay.
Okay?
Fantastic.
All right. Andrea and Bernie and I, last week I was down with the flu. So not much happened. So Andrea and Bernie and I went through some fine tuning of the line items today. This is what I have, what do you have, which probably would have happened last week, but I wasn't getting off the floor. So, so we did come up with a slightly different budget line items, different things that broke out. In the January 29th meeting, we now have 5 people on the commission, which is really good. We can do things like hold meetings. We can actually, I've always said for the past couple of years, who's watching me? I'm cleaning this up and who's watching me? And so now we've just brought in this year Mitch Damon, who is incredible, and we've got B, and we've got Bernie, and Tammy Pelletier, and they have all gone through this budget ad nauseum. So when I hit the lottery and move to a Caribbean island, they'll be able to do the budget for you. As far as our budget line items, another thing that's going to help us maintain costs and feed the enterprise fund is indirect costs. Our two griffins in the budget, 2 griffins in the line items are health insurance and sludge removal, and we'll get into each one of those. By taking the indirect costs in 1,000 years ago used to be one lump sum, and at the end of the year, that money, it was for like using the accountant and using this and using that, almost like paying rent, all right? And then that money would get transferred into the general fund. Well, as things have increased and so forth, what has happened with some really good work from Andrea and Michelle as well is we've taken that large number, gone from 32,000 to 70,000 this year, and we've broke it out so that items that aren't used, such as health insurance for the second operator, retirement money for the second operator, that money comes back to the enterprise fund where it should always be. And the true transfer to the general fund for actual use of Michelle, use of Aaron, okay, has gone out of that 70,000, has gone down to 15,000. The remaining 45,000 either goes to true cost, or if it isn't used, goes back into the enterprise fund.
Yeah, she separated it out on the back of the sheet.
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So just
Oh.
Good.
Okay?
Yep.
Our format of our budget, because we're enterprise fund, you might want to consider enterprise fund for the transfer station. Other towns do. And our format for an enterprise fund matches the same structural format that Matt is using for the EMS. Other different line items, you're going to see sludge removal, you're going to see Band-Aids for him, okay? But the format of how to manage payroll, how to manage indirect costs are the same template. So that is really good, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So these,
Go ahead.
so these aren't really new. They're just newly broken out.
Newly broken out.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
Each year we've tried to look at this beast that was a mess, and Bernie Paradas just spoke to not keeping up with costs and revenues and stuff like this. That was a mess. And each year would say, what can we fix and not upset everything? You know, there was so many problems. It was like, let's try to fix 2 things and get to a little better place, and fix 2 more things and get to a little better place. Let's see, we've covered all that. We've covered DEP, overtime is projected at 28,000. We've separated those things out. Holiday pay, blah, 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 on call. All right, so we've covered the salary part, all right? what Andrea and this Bernie and I did today was reconciling all of this. You'll notice all of this should match in some form what comes out of here,
Yep.
the top line items. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Now, our budget griffins. I worked hard at coming up with some sort of troll name for items that kill us every year. We have trending sheets. We have taken every month end for the past 3.5 years. We have taken the expenses and we have trended them out so that we can see what was chemicals. You know, what did we allocate? What did we spend? Are we above or below? And we have this trending software created in Excel, which does trending. It lives to do trending, so we can see where we're falling short of making good allocations and where we're over allocating something. So our griffins every year, and everybody on the commission looks at this, whether they want to or not. We are required by Mass General Law to review our budget minimum 12 times a year. Okay? So they are very, very good at picking things apart along with Isaac's help on things. So our griffins are sludge removal, health insurance, chemicals,
Yep.
and lab supplies. Those are our biggies every year. Those are the ones that we've had to wrestle to the ground to get in line.
We kept them as close as we could too. We actually, our original one, some of these increases, we had a percentage on my sheet, but we had some of them, we had 20% raise because we were like, well, that's the way it's been trending. But we saw a slight, by looking at the graphs, we saw a slight decrease, not quite as, not going up quite as much. So we tried cutting a few things as
Right.
much as we could. We, as a commission, we all.
To help fill in a little background for Morgan as well, there were times 3 years ago that we didn't even have line items in there that sewer department should have in there. Okay, so some of these things you're gonna see like, what is that? Because it wasn't manhole replacement and manhole repairs about 20-something years ago was in the budget, and it just sort of didn't go in the budget anymore. So those types of things, we've had about 5 line items we've had to put back in the budget so that it looks, if you took our budget, if you took Montague's budget, if you took Oren's budget, you would say those line items are pretty darn close. So in FY27, you're going to notice a few things in here. I jumped ahead a little bit. January 29th, we sat down for the last time as a commission and we voted on it, and we said, with Isaac present, we said, do we need to increase this? What are our every single line item went up for a trend review to allocate it over the last 4 years. All right, based on what we have, for example, we never had budgeted surplus. A budgeted surplus, we had a line in there that was for a loan. Nobody knew what the loan was. I'm like, if there's a line in there for a loan, there has to be a line in there for interest.
I know what the loan is.
Okay, so we took that money and we transferred it into a new line item like 2 years ago called budgeted surplus. Budgeted surplus is the money that we have from July 1st to November 1st, because we can't touch enterprise fund until it's certified. You know, the flames could be coming out the windows. We can't touch enterprise fund until it's certified. That money is there as a short-term 3 to 4 months. There's a sewage spill on Moody Street. So that has stayed in there. We decided we did not need to increase it. Based on what we have for a budget, based on what other sewer plants have for a budget, we said, we're comfortable with this. We have a reserve fund of 20-something, 21,000. We said, we don't need to increase that. We're good with that. If those aren't used, that's our supplement into the enterprise fund. Let's see, so that's what we did. You'll see a lot of zeros in here, and requested increases FY 27 minus FY 26. And you'll see, for example, one line item I messed up on last year. Who's watching Karen? I messed up on last year was telephone. We have more and more data transmission. And data transmission is, your internet, your this, your that, okay? There was 2,000 in there. We really need that with all the automated transmissions we've put in to be 5,400. I missed it last year. So you're looking at like an 80% increase on that line item, and that's why.
Okay.
As far as sludge, we have, as of today, we have 10 loads that have hauled out. Isaac, you want to talk to any of that? We have usually 20 something
For the year.
for the year.
I mean, we're on track to be about the same.
Yep. We work through Jan, Franklin County Solid Waste Management District. And they are able to get like best deals and things like this. And Wall Trucking is our provider that comes in. And they come in when Isaac calls them. In the old days, sometimes operators would say, I'm going to try to get the best buy every 3 weeks. He doesn't have that kind of time to get, you're going to be ending up saving, $1,000 a year. But are you really saving $1,000 a year? And then if Joe's sludge removal doesn't show up, now you've got a problem.
Well, the bigger issue even than that is there is nowhere to go with it.
Right.
So if you have anywhere it's going to take it, that's really it.
And right now we have Montague.
And Lowell is a backup.
Lowell is our backup.
It's a far backup.
What's that?
That's a far backup.
So is Canada.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Our
they even
expenses, if you
take it
have to
into
go through
Canada.
Lowell, are quite a bit more, the cost
Right.
per load.
Right.
Like, just mentioning the sheet you have, the sludge, expended as of 11/15,
30, yeah.
13,453. In the 2.5 months since then, it's now up to almost $19,000 on our one that we just printed out as of 1/27.
Okay.
So it's, and we're getting towards the time of year in the spring when we have heavier melt off, heavier flow, you get more infiltration, the sludge's cost will go up. And, so we're kind of on track, so with
Yeah.
those numbers.
So that's what we have. We tried to bring this in as close as possible using trend lines, and as safe as possible, but not shoot ourselves. We've come out of shooting ourselves in the foot. It's been ugly. The rates have been ugly. One of the things that the town really needs to think about, as I was watching Tommy up here, is we've got 283 accounts that are trying to support an infrastructure that all of us use, myself included. It's really hit critical mass, and we really need to start thinking about long-term. Do we start having hard conversations about a Department of Public Works? When Tommy starts buying some of these pieces of equipment, we don't have the money, we don't have the storage to store some of these. But if we need to get into some of this 4.5 miles of backcountry because it's winter and there's snow and we've got to fix something, we're going to be calling Mr. Walker to show up with some snow removal. I don't know if it's the sidewalk piece of equipment or what it is, but we got to get in there.
And he does show up, he has helped us anytime we've asked. He's even volunteered help in the past, so I want to make sure I mention that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He's very good about that.
So we've really reached a point where we've got to you know, Andrea's working on some grants for expansion, which we know there is expansion possible. But there's only so much expansion. Mitch has been doing a great job, really tearing into the budget and the accounts and different things. The question always comes up about the campus. And, we just went through what's in those 283 accounts. There's a lot of myths and legends out there. And some of the myths and legends are the campus is only paying one flat fee amount. And that's not true. They're shelling about $100,000 a year when you add up all of theirs, and that doesn't include some of their private homes. So when you really look at it, I think I've had a lot of people say to me, what about the campus? What about the campus? They're getting hit hard too.
Okay.
And Mitch is really looking into that with me. You know, so when we go through some of this stuff and we look at all this tough stuff, we're about as clean as we're going to get at this point. I don't think there's going to be additional line items. We're not going to come in next year and say, we had to add a line item for the kangaroo corral. All right, there's none of that happening. But we all, one way or another, we're looking at a sewer with a court order, an EMS building, a fire station replacement, 2 water companies, a school, and a pedestrian bridge to West Northfield. That's a big load. And I don't know where it ends up. I'm just saying we all have to start doing some really creative thinking. Questions? I'm going to call for one motion from the sewer commission before we leave. Questions? Morgan.
Yes. So in some of the materials that we received, we have the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District budget notes. Can you kind of correlate what this January 29th memo means in this budget?
Did I get that?
Oh, is that Board of Health?
Did you say?
I think it's board, they're mostly talking about Board of Health.
That's Board of Health,
Oh,
yeah,
That's
okay,
Board of
yeah. Different.
I'll just make up
Well,
answers.
their
Okay?
district management, they're over from FERCog, does the contracting out for us, for the sludge
Bidding.
removal.
They handle all the bidding.
The
She's
bidding,
very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you
That's-
probably pay us a fee to do that bidding.
The fees are broken out by, go ahead.
There's one yearly fee, and then
Yeah.
they charge a fee per gallon, which is like,
Oh, okay.
0.0001 or something like that.
Yep. Here's some of our, just some more, can you see it? Here's some of our trending reports. When they start questioning me about, what was it like in October 2022? I'm like,
There it is.
There it is.
there it is, all right? And, other questions?
Just to clarify, so I've said it out loud, you've been pulling things out of sort of this nebulous big fund is how I'm understanding. And so
Sure.
some of these historical places like manhole replacement and electrical panel engineering that don't have this historical data, don't have that historical data because
They weren't in there
they
before.
were just,
Right.
they were paid for out of just this big general pot of money.
Yeah,
Is
and hopes,
that-
the hopes and dreams.
The electrical panel is a new thing.
The electrical panel is paid, the big part of the
town money.
project is paid for with grant monies and, a subsidy from the town.
Right, it was town
And some of
meeting.
our own. However, there is going to be, when this thing gets plugged in, and then all of the transfer of information and the, human-machine interfaces that have to plug in and get fed up to places, there's gonna be a punch list. We don't know what that punch list may be $7,000. We don't know. That's gonna stay in there until the entire project, probably another year, and then it will be removed. That was our way of getting a little, we know there's gonna be a punch list.
Yeah.
put a number on it. So that will eventually fade off. The manhole replacement, yeah, you're not gonna see historic data, cause that was added back in there.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome.
I just want to say based on being on, the finance committee for several years, and Dan is too, when we first came on, when we saw the sewer commissioners, if we did even see them, was the fact is we never got anything like this for data or information that was as detailed and clear to us.
Thank you.
And there was some serious problems there. I have to hats off to Karen and the current Board of Sewer Commissioners have done a lot to try
And
to
him.
clean up.
Yep.
And I was like, to clean up the problems that existed there for many, many, many years. They've come a long way. Because again, this is far superior than what I first saw when I came on the finance
Because
committee.
it's very clear, very
Very
open.
understandable.
Yeah.
But nothing bad about the people who didn't have the skills.
Right.
This technology's,
Wasn't
some of them, I've learned it simply because it's been drilled down my throat. Plus with my job, I use technology, so that kind of helped.
But there has been a significant
Oh, yeah.
improvement.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
And we appreciate the efforts made to do this because this makes it, like I said, more transparent to not only the finance committee, select boards, and also to the residents here.
Right.
Because this was, a good word was nebulous.
Yeah. And you-
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you mentioned to us how you wanted us to have a reserve fund and
Yep.
budgeted surplus things, so that if we don't use them, it goes into our enterprise fund. We have a kitty, so if something catastrophic happens, we're not going, uh-oh.
I'm not at the point yet of stabilization, you brought that up a couple years ago, but we're at a point now where this has become so trendable, do we start thinking about a stabilization account? Because if we have money that can grow money, that's less that we have to hit the ratepayers for.
Yeah.
And that should have been going on for years as far as doing that. The rates didn't go up for years and years and years.
Right.
And it was never put aside to take care of any large problems that may come up, that could have come, well, they are coming up to us as far as doing that. And the electrical, I was gonna ask about that, you kind of explained it, but you think of a year from now, it's gonna be working, making your life easier?
It's going out to bid soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, they just sent us an email, they're almost ready to give us the thing to go out to bid.
Oh, okay, okay,
We
so
got an
we're
email,
at that stage.
last
Right.
week?
Yeah,
Last week.
Last week.
yeah.
Last week.
So you don't know exactly what it's gonna come in as because they're just going out to bid, right?
That's
Yep.
part of the other. I've been told it might be a complaint of how little a lot of my line items have been expended so far. And part of that, well, it's the winter, and I'm waiting to see how I get through the winter for breakages and all that. But also, we don't know what the end point is of really three large projects. You know, the electrical panel being one, the water line, and then the siphon underneath the Mill Street siphon. You know, we really don't know the end costs of these. You know, so I'm trying to just fix things as they come up.
Right. Those are our top three priorities. And those have to be the top three priorities. The Mill Street siphon, or has been recently in the last 24 hours dubbed Save the Siphon Project, is siphon technology, and it goes under the Mill Creek, but it handles all of the north end
Of the town.
transfer of waste. And that is supposed to be looked at and inspected, and I'm not even gonna get into that. But it's on embankments, you can't get into it. We had an engineer cross-country skiing today. But we have, there's gonna have to be a lot of embankment shoring. There's gonna have to be a lot of work to get in there, so that going forward, it's easy and safe. I almost killed myself like a year and a half ago trying to get in there. I almost went into the river. Easy, and I'm not kidding. Easy and safe to get in there every week or whatever is required to inspect that siphon. We may even have to put in a redundancy siphon, but that's all part of that project. What just came in from Senator Markey's office on Friday afternoon was this was really good. They reached out to us and said, give us a project that we can go after with either the Army Corps of Engineers. We didn't have anything ready to go, but I gave them the Mill Street siphon, and they looked at it and they said, we can do something with congressional directed spending. I put close to $1 million on it. I was like, we had a preliminary engineering report. I said $1 million. Senator Markey's office said, let us work with Andrea and get this for FY27 congressional direct fund spending. So this was really good that we brought everybody in last year, and now at a federal level, they're saying, what can we do to help Northfield?
Perfect.
That's big.
Should we
Wow.
mention that the congressional direct spending is a year behind now because of the
Right.
We had put some money in for this year for congressional direct spending, but because of the government shutdown, they never even finished with 2025. So they did 2025, and Senator Markey's office mentioned to us that we probably should take what we put in for 2026 and put it in for 2027, because
We're gonna roll over the 4-point-something million that's already in there that Senator Comerford and friends got going last year, and we're gonna add into that the Save the Siphon project.
But that's why you're not gonna hear anything about us getting anything, because they just said, well, we're not even gonna go there. They just eliminated it because of the government shutdown. They fell so far behind
Great.
that they're just doing the 2025.
Well, you have, Karen, I mean, in between that, because it was worked around the furlough, was the search grant
Oh, yeah, that's
with USDA, and that's the stepping stone to anything from a lending standpoint with
Lending.
USDA. So that's
That's
kind
it,
of the connective tissue between the larger congressional
right.
spending project and the electrical panel. So there's a sequence of,
There is, yep,
Right.
thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, and
different
that's,
funding, different projects.
that search grant costs us nothing. It's a $30,000 search grant for USDA to really look at how they could fund us if we had to borrow. Something going through my brain.
Is that just lining up, if I remember correctly, is that just lining up all the data that puts us in a better position for the lending?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. So this is some of the fun things too, Megan, that every time we do the budget, usually the end of the month, we have red and green, not just at Christmas, we have red and green, and we say we're 52% through the year. Is each line item above or below the 52%? So it's very visual for all the commissioners to see.
We go over that every meeting.
And you change the percentage every month?
Yep.
Yeah, every time. Anytime we get some
Yeah.
new figures, we change it.
Okay.
Also, the last thing that we had this winter is we now have a direct access to the Vadar accounting and reporting
Oh, good.
system. So we can't enter things in, which we
Right.
shouldn't. We can pull everything out in the moment. We can have up to date, like what did we expend through tonight at 4 o'clock and plug it into a spreadsheet. So that's been a big, I mean, Michelle and all of them have kept us alive for about 2 years, but that's been a
Have they
big.
shown you how to look up a vendor? So so if a vendor calls and said, I haven't gotten this check, you can look and see if the check's been sent. Because you should be able to you may want to check, see if you can get access to the vendor information in case somebody calls for a missing check or something.
Yeah, I've been looking at really the trending reports
Okay.
more than that. I think that's pretty much all we have access to. We've been trying to stay out of, like, there were some questions about how many hours thus far has Sam worked and how many hours has Everett worked. I don't even look at payroll.
Yeah.
Even if I had the permissions to, so I got a hold of Erin. I'm like, can you tell me? And she gives me the number. I don't.
For the capital request.
What, dear?
Oh, yeah, there's a capital request for manhole.
Oh, the capital request.
Yeah, it looks pretty,
Yeah, the
it looks like
capital-
a very straightforward. That he-
Yeah,
but he,
that's the manhole project. You got it. You wanna talk about it?
It's really just trying to keep up with where Tom wants to pave, so if he wants to, when he goes through, it's cheaper for us if we just buy the manhole covers and all that, and he just throws them in and paves. It saves us having to go out and do it.
Right.
Or after he paves, then we say, oh, let's change it now, and we dig up his,
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you're not gonna have too many
You
happy
tell
people
him.
with that.
So yeah, so we've done, last year we did a coordinated project. It worked really well. This coming year, we're gonna do this with, work that he's doing up there and a coordinated project. And that's what that article was for. Because there were a few changes in numbers and because we voted as a commission on January 29th, and we have 3 commissioners here, we originally voted for, because we made a few changes to the budget. What was the number?
669,188.
669,188, and we made a few tweaks, and I am going to motion that we budget for 668,454. Do I hear a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We don't have a rate yet, and there's a reason why we don't have a rate. Okay, we will be coming back to you this month with a rate. There's a reason why we don't have a rate. Those 5 flat fee accounts have been a mathematical disaster. We don't know where they came from, there's no documentation, there's no nothing. So Mitch is approaching it from this way, and I'm approaching it from this way. And we have come up with enough historical data that is moderate, that we think for this year we can do one of 2 things. Mitch is looking at using percentages, and it all has to go back before the commission. He and I are not gonna make a decision on our own. He's working some formulas with percentages. I went back through even more and more of the historical data, and I said, what if we took those 5 accounts out, see you buy, put them in as straight EDU items, used half of their EDU equivalents from history.
And we went back to like 2005.
And did that, and so we are looking, I'm not gonna mention a rate, it's because it hasn't been voted on by the commission, it hasn't been reviewed, it hasn't been voted on. But that's the approach that we're taking to come up with a little more equitable rate. That will allow us, with the good help of East Northfield Water Company that just gave us all their usage data.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
That will help us to really analyze, do we go to a tiered EDU? Do we go back to meter juices? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How would we manage it?
And we have to set the rates by the end of the month, too.
We have to set the rates by
So
March
we don't
1st.
have a lot of time, so we have a lot of that data set, and Mitch is getting his.
Right.
And we'll vote on it, and we'll
I'm
probably want us to let you know when we do vote on it.
Yes, please.
right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on a rate anyway. Okay, I'm sitting on a rate. So we've got something we could vote on. We didn't come in here without something in our hip pocket. But it's really like letting all the other commissioners come to the table and really analyze this. I'm not sweating it. You can sweat when you see me sweat. I'm not sweat. I'm not. 3 years ago, I would have been like, "Oh God, what are we gonna do?" But now we've got good eyes on it. We've built a relationship with you guys. We've built a relationship with the select board. We've built a relationship with everybody in the back office and with Tommy and his crew. We've built Team Sewer. That's what we need. Everybody's gonna get a hat. No, I'm just kidding. But that's what it takes to get at. This is a 13-year problem. I'm not gonna be here at the end. Most of us aren't gonna be here at the end. So we really have to look at long-term and, well, Dan will be. But, But, you know, we really gotta look at
We
long,
retire to the villages.
Oh, no. Thank you very much, Bill.
Any
and
other questions?
any other questions?
Quick question, you said the flat rate, are those residential or businesses? Or educational institutions?
What happened? What happened is there were 5 accounts, this is what it looked like from that conversion. The budget was short $40,000. There were 5 accounts, what are we gonna do? Some of them are residential, some of them commercial, blah, blah, blah. What are we gonna do with this? I know, let's divide by 5 and bill them $8,000.
What?
That didn't work. So what I did was I said, let's just go back to real simple stupid. Let's just take those out of this model and using, I would love to have solid, like, you know, this is how much they use, this is using reasonable amounts, take half of their EDU number, put it in there, what does it look like? Yeah. Oh, the things that we found.
I can believe
Questions?
it.
Questions, Dan?
No, I'm good.
Anybody else?
Gail, one thing I noticed in doing a lot of this research is you went through some similar things with South Hadley.
No, I worked for Hadley,
You worked for Hadley.
not South Hadley. And I worked for Orange.
Okay. Okay. All
So you
right.
haven't done the tiered EDUs?
The what?
The tiered EDUs.
No.
Okay, I guess we'll have to talk with that
We're gonna
consultant.
have to, we're gonna,
What is that?
it's basically saying, here's an EDU, but if you're a commercial and you're this size and your building is bright yellow, you're gonna be this. And, sometimes tiered EDUs are tied to size of meters
Oh, yeah. Amherst does it because of UMass.
because of UMass.
Yeah,
right?
and we have a lot of older people living alone.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, this would be a way, if we can do it, we could go a little easier on them, have an average, maybe the high usage ones.
Right. But it all
Yeah.
has to go through. It
Yeah.
all has to go through.
Yeah.
So, a lot of research, but at least we're making strides in that
Yeah,
too.
well, 'cause South Hadley has a lot of commercials and.
The minute you put a campus in your town,
Oh, yeah, South, yeah, Mount Holyoke.
whole
yeah.
different can of worms.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not even if it's all usage and metered, they're not using during the summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Question?
Nope.
Question?
Nope.
Not yet?
Maybe next time.
Okay. All right, it's
Motion to adjourn.
8:12, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming
Greatly
in.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
We appreciate all the hard work you guys
Yeah.
are doing.
Yeah, it's very transparent, very clear.
Yes, this is a
Yeah.
vast improvement.
Yeah.
100% improvement.
Yeah, it's been a trip.
So it's all comes under the same solid
Okay,
waste
great.
management. It's just, are they working
Thank
with
you.
the-
Good night. Yeah, take care.
Thanks, you guys.
Okay.
It's a different thing.
They do all the bidding for the home, the trash, they do all that bidding.
Oh, here's your.
Thank you.
We had no minutes to
When I put the agenda together, we had just had our meeting. I didn't realize she would have the minutes, which she did.
Oh, you mean the minutes?
Yeah, for February.
I have the minutes, but I realized I didn't have the agenda. so
Right, because
we'll
I
get next
figured
time.
by the time I turned it around,
I
I didn't
agree.
want to
Every
put
day
that
except for
type of
Monday.
pressure on somebody. I didn't want to
Well,
put pressure on
We
her.
should
that's
email
Okay.
about putting it out because it's gonna be the school people and they're gonna want me during the day.
And
I know you have a
I
job.
thought about, they sent a email about adding somebody else.
Yes,
And I don't want any more people from the school on that
I
committee.
mean, if it's going to be
Otherwise,
they want business, they want their business director, Taffy.
Yeah, well, then that means they have a majority on the committee.
Well, it's
and we're
3 and
just
3.
Basically letting the school committee.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can discuss it, but I think we need
Yeah.
to set up a time, and I
Yeah.
don't know what Robin's schedule is during the workday. That's what we should,
8 to 5.
right, so that becomes the problem, because they're gonna wanna meet during the day, because they're all school. He's
Right.
retired and I'm here, so we'll talk. I don't wanna hold
I'm
it
a
up.
little more open.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I think we're gonna have to take the initiative to push a meeting forward, so.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Hey.
I got a few line items,
Okay.
so,
It's mostly the focus, the ones that are increased.
yeah, that would be like. all of them.
Usual.
Yeah, usual. Yeah, your software.
Yeah, I mean-
your tax.
Legal.
Legal, yeah, I'm gonna ask for an increase in legal. I think we're just not gonna see the end of a lot of things that are
Okay.
happening. Some of it for the good of the town. I mean, we're negotiating pilot agreements with solar, those kinds of things, which could ultimately be good for the town, but we still have to have,
Yeah.
she's taking most of that in the assessor's budget right now, but there's parts that'll be on the select board and the town part that, and various other lawsuits and cases.
Yeah, we have some lawsuits, yeah.
Right. Veterans District is an assessment, so if you're going down, I have various
Have you gotten,
spreadsheets.
it looks like you've gotten numbers for health insurance. Are those?
Yeah, we'll get to, that's an ugly
Yeah.
one. So I was gonna start in order here. I
Okay.
don't know if you have any questions on the select board, that's the 122 account. You're
Just
looking-
one question, the significant increase in the selectmen telephone bill. It was a $2,000.
Yeah, we've really been underfunded on it,
Okay.
and you'll notice we had 5,025 and it was 7,800. And we then went to 7,000. I just think it's gonna be closer to 8. And that has to do with number of lines.
Yeah.
And when we add a line, we add an employee, it's per month. We're adding a phone line every
Okay.
time we put a phone on a desk, because it's voice over IP. So that's how we're paying for them. So that's the big cost there. Everything else is, I think, pretty self-explanatory. Technology is the website. It's gonna be our increase, and then the rest are salaries.
Okay.
So
Any
that's that one.
questions on select board?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Technology, there's some big changes here, there always are. I'm just asking for the computer repair and replace. We've budgeted 1,000, it doesn't cover a new computer, and I've paid for 3 this year.
Do you have a
I'm
regular
scraping it.
schedule to?
Yes and no. When I started, we had to replace almost everything, and I got a $25,000 capital article, so I tried to do some new, some used, so that they would start to fall into a schedule. But we have slowly had to replace just about everything. Everything was pretty ancient. And this covers really many computers. I'd say over 20 that are
Maybe.
running. And so we've had town clerk's office,
mine
we've had
died
treasurer
just
collector's office.
because.
We just put one in the police department, we just put one in the senior center. So for $1,000, we can't even buy one.
No.
And that's also if a monitor dies, or if a cord goes out, or a power supply. 2,000's probably optimistic, but I'm gonna go with it, because I'm scraping it from everywhere else to do it. But when a computer dies, it shuts down that office, I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
we're all tech driven now,
Yep.
and you can't do anything about it.
Do you have them like on a replacement schedule like you do with capital?
Yeah, I would,
Like 3 to 5
I've
years.
started one, and I do a review with them every year. It's just, we're so unstable right now, we're just getting everything fixed.
Okay.
But once we've got it, like I know
Yeah.
we've got what's new and what year, so we're building that in. But the truth is, we're just gonna need a few thousand every year, probably more than that ultimately, to just, even to do on a schedule. Right now, we're just trying to make sure we're catching up with everything that needs to go. And we have some, my computer's 6 years old. That's pretty old in
That
the
is
computer world. So, I mean, it's fine unless I try to connect remotely, and then I sit there for a minute for everything. But in general, it hasn't failed me yet. But that's gonna go in a year or so. I mean, it just is. So, yeah.
Who is the point person for technology needs for the town? Yeah, I thought it might be.
Now, we have an IT vendor. So we have pushed a lot of people to call the IT vendor directly. So in other words, if you're experiencing a problem, don't call me. I can't help you. You call Northeast IT. And we do pay a little bit of money. We're not on the cheapest contract with them. Well, we can call them all the time, and trust me, we call them all the time. They are here all the time. We couldn't afford the hourly rate. I mean, it would bankrupt us because we just have so many offices and so many computers. So when we call and say this isn't working, they put in a ticket. I see every ticket, so I know what's happening. They get calls from the senior senator, calls from everywhere. So we've at least pushed people to do that directly. So they're dealing with them directly, which is very helpful. Sandra generally goes down and plays with the on-off switch, reboots the computers, goes into the office, turns the router on and off. Like that's her ballywick. She's kind of the IT person on the ground to at least say, did you do everything you can do before they have to come out? They do remote into people's computers if your computer's working to fix things. So IT is just happening all the time. It's just happening all the time. But we have a good vendor. They call us back. They get back to us. But ultimately, if someone comes and says, and they come and say, look, we can make this work, but you're going to have to replace this computer, they come to me. I got to find the money and work with the department. But most people now have understood that they can call directly to the to our support, which is very helpful.
Oh.
But in terms of managing the physicality, that comes back to me for that kind of thing.
And it's good because there's one person you go to, just one, and then they.
I do see all the tickets come through. So if somebody says this isn't getting answered, I can type in, I'll answer in, why is this still, why am I getting the 4th ticket on this? And sometimes it's our person not getting back to them. And that'll nudge the person to respond to Northeast IT. Look, you wanted this, you put a ticket in. Why is it taking 4 reminders from them for you to get back to them? So I can interject in there.
Yeah, they're very responsive with me when I was trying to log into the FinCom
Yes.
emails, and they responded right away.
Yeah, they'll set you right up. When we
Set me
change,
right up,
every time we
yeah.
change a board or a committee member or chair, they got to reset the password. They got to talk to. So if Gail has a problem with her email, I'm like, Gail, you call Northeast IT. Don't call me. I can't fix your email.
And I
But-
usually send an email or call.
right, and they have we email a ticket right in if your computer's working, and they'll fix whatever they'll get involved. So we pay for that, but we couldn't function without it.
And is that the computers that are within this technology line item are the computers that are housed in this building?
Pretty much. Pretty much. We do have a few people that, are committees that have had some technology. That might take their computers out. And I have VPN lines. One thing we did during COVID was we switched everybody just about from a desktop to a laptop with a docking station and a VPN, so people could work from home. So most every office is now set up so that you can work remotely. And that has helped a lot for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Just snowstorms.
Yeah.
Just, I'm home because my kid's sick with the flu, but I'll be on my computer. We get that, so
That's what I love
they
about
don't get a day
Vadar.
off, darn it. But
Yeah, I know. That's what I love about Vadar. It's in the cloud, so
a lot of our software is now starting to happen that way.
Yeah, just bring
but
the bills
we are
home.
we are a server based, so we log into the server. So we're separated. Like I don't go into his drives. We do have a shared drive. We have the P drive. We call it the P drive, the public drive, I guess. And then we put general things on there, like forms, employee forms, things that everybody can access. And then the M drive, that's actually the money drive. That's the accountant. But he doesn't have access to the M drive.
No,
I have
no.
access to the M drive and the accountant and the treasurer. So we have different drives, but we are server based, which has been very helpful because then you can remote in and you can share documents among each other. We can work on shared things. Once I'm done with a lot of this stuff, I upload it to the M drive, and that's where the accountant finds it. When your budget master spreadsheet is done and becomes official, it goes on the M drive, and then the accountant's working off that budget that gets approved. So it's pretty modern. We're pretty good in that respect, but it's technology and it costs, and you have to have the help. And that's where the next pieces come in. It says internet/telephone, but it's really internet. And the voice over IP is on the select board budget. Computer support and supplies. So that is broken down. There's 2 different line items here that sometimes seem rather confusing. So the computer support and licenses are Vadar, Zoom, website support, other than website costs, we have a door lock software, other annual things like our code red, or we pay, because we have microfiche stored in the mountains in South Amherst, I guess. So we pay an annual fee for that.
Iron
So-
Mountain, by the way. is what it's
Iron
called.
Mountain, right, so those
old South
fees are all in what we're calling computer support and licenses. The computer network management, which first is the next one, service support, the 50, that's Northeast IT. That's the big one. And so that's for every person's email and licensing of all our software, because we do it through everything now comes for software is Microsoft, and it's a license. There's no buying your software anymore. So you pay for a license and you pay for it monthly. So we have a monthly fee, which is everybody's IT, IT and their licenses. We have different grades. So for example, if you have a town email that has certain licensing, we pay $35 a month. If you just have an email, but we don't have the licenses attached, like you don't need Microsoft or whatever, because you just need an email box, like a committee, then that's a lower fee. So we have different fees going in there. And we've worked our way up to a good $4,500 a month in licensing for our emails and fees. And then there's a little bit extra in there because we often have other things we might need them to come out and do that are not in our contract, not too many. But every now and then they'll come out and do something, and it'll take a cord, and they'll charge a little extra for that, and I'll find and place that cord, make it work. And I'll build some of that into there so I can preserve the repair and replace line item for big things like a new computer. So that's why everybody wants a mailbox, an email, and I'm like, yeah, that's really expensive, just in an annual cost. So, and EMS has done their own. They're on our bill, in case you ever see the bill, but it's broken out for them because if they came under our contract, it was much cheaper for them.
But they just pay it separately.
They pay their separate,
Yeah.
it's listed as
Yeah.
EMS, and they pay their own piece. But if they started a whole new contract, it was a way more expensive for them. So they allowed them to come under our contract, but they pay their portion of that for all of their email addresses. We pay, right now, everybody in this building, like we're paying the police out of this, we're paying senior center, everybody who's got an email address. Boards and committees, select board members, Gail, your finance committee, like all of that comes out of that particular line item. And I would not break it up. I would not try to get every town department to pay for that little piece. I think it would drive our accountant crazy if
They
we
would.
had to.
I had to do it in orange. It drove me
And
crazy.
that was what was happening also with the telephone. Like you gotta, at some point you have to start to consolidate these things because the individual little pieces are impossible to track down. So it's a very expensive line item, and unfortunately, something that we're stuck with and we have to use. And all of those fees go up. Code Red says it's gonna be 5% more this year, and Radar is gonna be this, and they're all assessments. And so we have to pay for them because we need all the software, and we need all that cloud-based service. So, nutshell explanation of our IT department, our IT. The next, town buildings. I'm going up a little on electricity. I think we're gonna be under. It's another one that's very, very expensive. Trying to cut down a little bit on things we don't use. I think pellets is gonna be up this year. We've seen the cost of those go up, plus we've had some very cold winters, and I think we've been kind of scraping by using other line items to cover the cost of some of those. And they hit oddly. For example, you'll see that we paid more than 10,000 last year in pellets, but we haven't paid anything this year. Well, it'll hit all at once.
Yeah.
You'll hit like twice or three times and of course we were full going into the year, so we've just probably processed. In fact, you have the new budget. I would be surprised if there wasn't a pellet one on there. This was as of November, so I think we've had a bill since then. So it hits at odd times. The building maintenance repair, I added in that money. I told you I took out the capital request for the $1,500, and I actually put it into the building maintenance repair line item, just as an increase. I think that we're going to find now that we have a repair person, and we already spent over the amount that we had for 25. I think we're going to find that we have the opportunity to actually fix some things, and we're going to need that money in there. And if it, in the future, is other small handheld equipment, that would be the place to take it from. And servicing it. We haven't historically been servicing all that equipment. So, like I said, they couldn't start the snow blower. So they shoveled by hand, so that needed to be serviced. Sometimes that happens with the lawnmower. We get to spring and we gotta have the lawnmower serviced. All that stuff has to be serviced regularly. Now we have someone who's tracking all that. Other supplies, I went up $500, you'll see again. We had cut it thinking, okay, maybe we won't need it, and then we went over. So I'm just incrementally bringing that back up. Sewer is up because we're already 15,000 over this year. So 15,000 is probably too low, but it's close, getting closer. Elevator and alarms, oh, the bane of my existence, the elevator. Yeah, that elevator has cost us so much time and aggravation. We switched back from this weird phone-based system to back to the hardwired system from the telephone company, because every time they'd come to inspect the elevator, it didn't work. We'd fail. And then they'd come back out. So we were paying 2 to 3 times to have the elevator inspected every year, because we were saving a few dollars by having this. I said, we're not saving anything, because every time they come, it's a few $100s. We're paying for re-inspections that would be cheaper if we just put the darn phone line back in. So
It doesn't.
it's
Okay.
now we have the phone line back.
Shrewsbury, we have the phone line, but we still spend 3,000-4,000.
Yeah, and
We
by
have
the way-
bees, we have bugs, we
So,
have
and this covers, just so you know, I don't know why, but historically, this elevator and alarm item is the library as well. We do both buildings under this
Okay.
line item. I don't know why, it's just historically been that both are here. They come on the same days, it's the same company, they do, so when the bill comes, so this is both buildings. Rubbish, we're leaving the same. Capital projects, when I started, that line item was $15,000. I sort of cut it back over time because we didn't really have anybody to do some of these capital projects. But now that we do, I'd like to just put a little bit of money in there to get some capital projects done that we have. Getting floors done, redone, because he has the ability to do that. And get some of these capital projects back on the books. And outdoor maintenance, this is a new line item. Dan, we've been round and round with this. We've tried to squeeze in actually having the trees and the bushes trimmed in other budget line items because we don't have one. But every year, Snows comes out, trims everything up, and now we have all those new trees. So we put them in, and there's no maintenance for them.
If for some reason I'm not around, the lights have to come out of those trees before they trim them. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of cut wires.
I think they'll figure that out. They're the ones who usually put them in and out. So, but anyway, so we added all these new bushes down the side and some new trees. And so I'm like, yeah, we got to have somebody who's actually going to. They come with a truck to do these. I mean, you just can't clip them. So it's lovely. We have this nice green wall, but we do have to have that maintained. And we do some of it. They'll come like once a year. Our guy will trim it here and there when it's needed, but usually have them come once a year to do that. So that's the town buildings line. Inspection services. As you'll notice, we have zeroed out the building inspector salary because as of June 1st, we are moving to the Franklin Regional Inspection Services, Franklin County Cooperative Inspection Services. We had already moved electrical and plumbing there. So that means the account is all set up, all of the software is set up, everything is set up to do this. And it was precipitated by the retirement of Sandra. She's leaving, she's retiring June 1st. And I said, we are not training someone to do this. we're moving over there where it's all done through them, especially since the building inspector here is the building commissioner there, same person. And Jim has been around, I don't know,
20 years at least.
more than
or
me.
more.
I've been here 25, so around 25. So he's going to be gone someday, which means that we'd have a new person trying to learn that, and then trying to find a building inspector is close to impossible. That's why we moved wiring and plumbing, because we couldn't find any. So I said it's the opportune moment to just take the leap. So that's gone, and then you'll see that I'm upping the inspection program services line item, because that's the assessment we will be getting to be part of that. It looks like a great savings, and it is, but don't forget, we do lose the revenue from the building permits. Well, we don't lose it. We lose a certain amount. They get to keep it because that's how they run the program. So,
I know sometimes if there's an excess, they'll send
yes,
a
they
check
have to,
back.
every year they have under the
Yeah.
agreement that they can only hold so much in their fund to make sure that they have enough, because their building permits are, like,
Yeah.
you don't know what next year's building permits are gonna be, so they have to have a certain amount in reserve to make sure they can fund the program if building permits go down. During, certain times of the year, sometimes they go up. So if they have excess of that under their own rules, they will vote to return money to the towns. So that can happen if there's a lot of activity. So they can't keep it just for the sake of keeping it in the program. They have to return it. But it is a bright spot at the moment anyway for the budget to go down. So,
Yes, it is.
so those are those general ones by department, and then I have that I pulled out miscellaneous, and we started down legal. Obviously, I think we're going to find ourselves in trouble. We already had a transfer last year for legal, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. Veterans is an assessment. Retirement,
And not that, I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's an assessment. It is what it is. Health insurance. Ouch.
Yeah.
did you get
increase.
numbers already, or?
We're estimating, I was on the call today with the consultant, and they are waiting for, they have a bid out for pharmacy benefits, so they're waiting for that to come back. When that comes back, they'll rework the numbers. They're saying maybe 16 to 20%, but that depends on a few things. This is an estimate at 15, only because we're waiting for the pharmacy numbers to come back. Plus, they're talking plan design. So the lower end, if we do some plan design things like deductibles, which they've never done in the past. So that's one of the plan designs. Upping co-pays is another part of the plan design. If they do none of those things, they're looking at 20%. So everybody's talking about what's the plan design going to be. So that's in the works, but we're estimating, at least at this point, 15%. That's what she has for sewer, that's what they have for EMS, that's what we have in here.
Okay.
We're keeping our fingers crossed right now. We always cushion a little bit, first of all, because we have some jobs that are still empty. We have to assume that someone taking the job would take health insurance. Plus, we also have a whole group of people who don't take our health insurance. So it's always safe to budget one, because they might come on. And that's, this is the game we play.
Oh, yeah.
This is from Michelle. We do lots of scenarios and lots of numbers, and but it's kind of our best guess right now, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed that we'll get a more solid percentage, but it shouldn't. This is a big bite, and unless they don't do plan design, it should be the biggest part of the bite. And you have to understand, it also incorporates the fact that we went up for 20% and then 20%. And now on top of that, 15. So it's not just 15% over last year. It was the 20, and then the 20, the unexpected 20 in the, so it took 20% in the fall, so we add that, and now 15% on top of the new number. So it's 35% over last year.
For health insurance, are you still looking at, are you looking to retain with the Hampshire regional group?
Right now,
Or are you looking
yes.
to go to some other group?
There's really only two other options.
Yeah,
There's the GIC,
yeah.
which the deadline was like December. And it was like, everybody, a lot of people, we just couldn't move that fast. I don't think this is going anywhere for a year. We can always look at GIC again in the fall for the following year. We still have that option. It doesn't go away forever. We're also waiting to see, GIC gave a very low increase last year, and then the state had to bail them out. Their new numbers come out in the next couple of weeks. Everyone's waiting to see what they're gonna do. They're also very east-based. The plans out here are not terribly west-focused, so people are very cautious. I know various people who've been on the GIC.
Yeah.
It was originally created for state employees. Well, most of them live and work where?
Eastern Mass.
So there's only a couple plans out here, and a lot of people have not been happy with them, which isn't to say we would not look at what they're offering and consider them. But so that's the GIC. So they are not off the table. I think that's something based on what we see coming out in the next year, we have to consider if it's an option. The other option is Maya. We have inquired of Maya, the treasurer collector has inquired. They can't take everybody who's inquired, so they are analyzing and getting back to groups with yes or no's what they would consider them. I know some people have already heard no. We have not heard back, so I asked her last week to just tweak them and say, look, we need to know, are we under consideration still, or are we out? And if we're under consideration, when might we hear from you, and when we get those numbers, then we can compare.
Now, you had mentioned too about changes in potential deductibles and co-pays.
That would take it to the 15% as opposed to the 20%
Now,
increase.
the other thing too is, obviously you do have some unions here. Don't
None of
you?
them bargain health insurance. We have one.
Just one can bargain for health insurance.
They don't bargain health insurance.
They don't,
It
okay,
says that they take we must provide them with the town's health insurance.
okay.
And that's it. So yes,
I
if
didn't
we
know
were
if
to
that
go
was
into the
gonna be another issue
GIC,
you'd have to
we would have to
face.
bargain the health insurance. And then we actually have to give them part of the savings, and it's a whole, we have to accept a mass general law to do this. We do not bargain health insurance, so
Okay.
we're at least lucky in that respect. Towns with unions that bargain for health insurance have a much heavier lift to change to the GIC.
Yeah.
So, and any new plan has to fit the benchmark, and there's lots of complicated pieces, so they can't just change the plans, they have to follow the law. So anything on any of those? I know, it's not very pleasant. We are not going up on the other insurance because actually those lines came in fairly reasonable. So it looks like we'll be fine for property casualty and all of those, so.
What about workers' comp?
we-
Fine.
Good,
Yeah.
looks good. A
Well, that's a
line item for
history
workers'
thing.
comp. We've budgeted 22, last year we came in at 16.4. I budget for what could be the potential, because you never know if someone's gonna have an accident and workers' comp goes through the roof. But we have not, we have traditionally had very good workers' comp numbers. So,
Do you have a capital projects list, like stuff you are looking to have?
For the town hall?
Yeah.
I have one, I didn't really
Work
update
in
it this year,
progress.
because I'm kind of waiting, and we can talk a little bit on the maintenance update on how we want to affect that. I do have a list, and some of, the copier was on it, the computers were on it, some of the floors are on it, certain furnishings are on it, even the lawnmower was on it. So I do have that for the town hall, so to speak.
Right.
And the problem with it is we were always just filing, oh no, move this one here, oh,
Yep,
this
just-
broke.
yep.
But you're right, I did sort of inventory
Right.
those things that, that we thought we would need to revamp. But it needs to be bigger, and I had no idea what the furnaces were like or what so now it really needs to be revamped with the heavy duty stuff, with the big stuff. And that's where we're gathering our data now. So yeah, we need to update that, and we're well aware.
Okay.
So that's what you'd be working on, not necessarily the
For the
school, but
school.
also this building
For
and
this
all the
building
other
too?
buildings.
We could. I
It
mean,
should be all the buildings, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not just
right, at some
school.
point, we need
Right.
to do that. I think once that we start to get some data,
we'll be able to actually start doing that, and for the library as well, because they also have obviously big systems.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
It'd be all the town buildings, no matter which one they were, fire,
EMS.
EMS.
At some point, yeah, as we go step by
Sewer.
step. As you get a new
Yeah.
building, it's a perfect time to then,
Since we're
Put in
talking
its
about
capital.
buildings, the bathrooms,
we're
Are we
having,
not-
we're having trouble figuring out how to fix the leak.
is that gonna have to wait until spring?
At this point, probably, well, we can't fix it at this point anyway.
Yeah.
We've kind of ascertained what the problem is. The question is, how do we fix it? And there's no point in fixing the wall till we fix the leak. So we know the water's actually, we thought the water was coming in and right down. It's actually not. It's coming in and running a certain channel over the women's bathroom and then feeding back because there's a tilt.
Oh,
And it's
Oh,
feeding
no
back and
kidding.
coming down the
So
wall.
where is this, do you know where it's starting? I think it's starting at the stairs.
Well, I
isn't it?
think, we don't know for sure, but we think that it's gonna have to be, there's gonna have to be some digging done to see, in the ceiling. We don't even have to go outside.
Okay.
It's in the ceiling, which means that we're gonna have to take down some ceiling, And I think that's gonna necessitate closing the bathroom. So we need to think about some complicated logistics here, because once they open that up, I'm not sure what they're gonna find out
So,
there.
that would, the problem I can foresee, if that's the case, with water running there for quite a while, we could have an issue with,
It might
Mold.
determine what we
Mold.
find up there, so that's
Mold,
why we
yeah.
aren't just opening it. Right now, there's a ceiling and there's it's encapsulate, we're not just gonna just rip it open. We need a plan. So we've talked to 2 vendors who do like restoration, repair kind of stuff, remediation kind of stuff. And we need to work out, how are we going to make this function? If we had to close that bathroom, are we talking a day, a week, a month? We need to have some backup plans, because it could take a while.
porta
And-
potty.
Yeah,
put one up like they did over at, I think it was a nice one they had at the bank.
an outdoor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you get real high-end
Trailer.
porta
Yeah,
potties.
yeah.
Those are,
Nice.
We live large.
So I think come spring, we're gonna work with those vendors again to figure out how and what we wanna do to open that up and really see what's going on and solve that problem. And then we can do the rest of the work, but we gotta stop the leak before it's worth putting a dime into the bathroom. So, anything else on the general
Any-
budget?
Yeah, nope.
Okay, reserve fund
Fund
request.
transfer.
Did you want the capital? I have one capital
Oh, okay.
project that I just put in for you guys.
Yeah.
And this is finally, I got
Okay.
numbers
H-
on,
Is that it?
26.
this room.
Oh, the heating.
Surprise!
Yeah,
The heating.
This doesn't work,
yeah.
so every day we're plugging in this, which runs all day, which is great for our electric bill,
Oh,
I'm sure. But more importantly, I said, if you're coming into this building, the problem upstairs here is that this room and the room next door have no other heat other than the mini splits. So although we have mini split issues on this side of the building in general, like the lines are in trouble, these other rooms are on the furnace, on the pellet stove in the furnace, so they have heat. What the mini splits work really well for them is summer cooling. And that's great here too when it works, but it also was, I don't know what they were thinking, but it was clear they were thinking for both these rooms it would be the primary source of heat. That hasn't worked out really well since they aren't working, we have no heat. So this would go over, fix the lines, because we have leak issues in the lines. And I said, not only these lines, run baseboard into these 2 rooms.
Would they be
So we'd
coming up
have
from
heat.
upstairs, downstairs? Is that how they're gonna
The
run it?
idea, I think, is they're gonna come from some office down
One of the
below.
offices?
And they'll come up, and I don't know which side of the rooms they'll be on. I'm presuming it will be I don't know. I'm not
So you had to quote for this is $26,000 just to do that?
to do, yeah, for all of it.
That's.
All to do the
that's
lines. Well, we
seems
paid
freaking
10
reasonable, actually.
or 14 to do the lines the other side, right?
Yeah,
Remember
this
that
is
was
fairly
that was
reasonable.
because we have 2 or 3 different systems running, so we had to replace the compressors on one system, and now and as I'm going to tell you right now, 10 years. If you get 10 years, you're in luck.
If we approve this, Andrea, what are you looking to have this accomplished as soon as possible?
Yeah,
basically?
I mean, as soon as they voted at town meeting,
Oh,
this
No,
is,
yeah, 'cause she
capital
has a different
request.
one, it's reserve fund thing. Just wait.
yeah, I was just looking.
Yeah.
no, this
You
is
have
the
another one-
capital.
You have another one for the reserve fund. How much is that
I do,
for?
that's only 28.52, that's for.
No, that's the
28.
present balance, you requested.
Oh, sorry, 36.59 for that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to have a clean copy for me to sign, my printer
I
was
would.
doing it grids.
I would.
Okay, so I'll sign.
So,
My
yeah,
thing was
that's
printing
for, that's
grids for
for
some
the,
reason.
website stuff.
Okay,
But this is to do the heat in these two offices
Okay.
and repair the lines to all of the downstairs offices on this wall for AC. So we figured we would do it as soon as we could after the May, if it comes out of free cash, because they'll need the AC by July.
So
for sure.
you're okay with going with this for?
We have
the
no
rest of the-
choice.
Well, we have
That's
reserve fund.
half
This
your
is,
reserve fund.
I know, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was,
we haven't
because
even
we have
finished winter.
55 back.
I guess the question is, are you okay?
55.
I'd rather wait
Right.
till after winter.
Okay. I'm just,
Me
Yeah.
personally, I don't know if anybody
55,
else has any
30, no,
opinions.
that'd be, yeah, we'll be down plus 3 today.
I don't think you
Yeah.
had, you had
Be
another
cut
one
right in
already,
half.
didn't you? So, yeah, I mean, I think that we'll just make it through. That room, nobody, Jim comes in the evenings.
Yeah,
So he's there for a couple hours a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this room, we just heat it up for meetings. And we try to encourage anybody who, if that room is open downstairs, a smaller board and committee, meet downstairs. Meet in the EOC room, the small meeting room, and just use this one for,
because the end of March, we should have an idea of where our big holes are, where our surpluses are that we can transfer to. And maybe somewhere there might be something to do it.
right, you could move it up sooner
Yeah.
if you found something. But,
Yeah,
so, I think that it's just gonna have to be done. And we gotta do it, we gotta get the AC working if nothing else. But
Yeah.
I think we need the redundancy in the heat. I think we've proven that mini splits to me are questionable heating source in this climate. And so we need to put this room and that room on the furnace.
okay. Reserve fund transfer?
Reserve fund transfer, okay. So we have our new website. I don't know if anybody's checked it out.
I have.
Alright,
Yeah.
So it has been, it's been,
Pictures going
it looks very
wild.
nice, it's great, it's a lot of work. And it has been a lot of work, for Sandra. For 4 more months. And then Sandra goes away. Amanda did a lot of the training too, so we have some backup there. I did some pieces of it, but most of the work on the website is really falling to Sandra's position. It is new, even she is learning some stuff as we go, because some things you don't do every day. Some of it's more complicated than it used to be, some of it's easier. But we didn't use some of the additional training money they had, because we didn't need the additional training. We just wanted to get into it. We didn't feel like we needed to. Some of these were 4 to 5 hour sessions, these training sessions. They were like, we're done, and we got it launched, and we just wanted to get going with that. They have something they call virtual webmaster services, which gives us 5 hours a month, plus it's actually a little more than that, because we can call them up to help us do some very basic things if we forget how. And we'd like to buy it. I'd like to buy it for the first year. I think we're gonna be penny wise and pound foolish if we don't. They are willing to, it's expensive, it's $6,700, but they're willing to give us the $2,800 credit, and if we don't use it, we'll lose it, like they don't refund it. So I'd love to apply it towards this, and then for at least the next year, we have somebody that someone can call and say, help, how do I do this? They'll put it on for you, they'll show you how to do it, they'll run small trainings, and just, I would feel safer if Sandra wasn't retiring, but I would still probably offer to do this for her, because it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a big change in everything she knew how to do. And we have found little holes, and we're plugging them all the time. This isn't on there, this isn't on there, and so it's taking up a lot of, but she's the only one learning it, because she's still the one doing it. So, although Amanda, I think, has stepped up to try to learn to do a lot of the pieces, which is good, because Amanda has no fear of technology, but that's her age. So,
Yeah.
sure, I'll do it. I'm like, oh, you go. So I don't know. I just think that this would be a really safe bet for us because I hate to have invested all that money and time and energy into a new website, and then we find ourselves not wanting to do anything on it because we don't know what we're doing and we don't know how to do it, and we're going to have a new person who's going to be starting and having to learn everything Sandra knows how to do. And if we think we're going to teach them the website in the 1 week, we might be able to get them to overlap and nothing else. I just don't think it's going to happen. So this kind of fell into our lap. They're like, well, we have this and we can give you some credit, and we're like, let me ask. So I would ask to do this. It will give Sandra some time to learn some things in the next couple of months, and then after that, it will give whoever replaces
So is
Sandra.
Amanda learning some of
She
it
is,
too?
she's,
Okay.
She is.
would be,
Okay.
I would say second.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
oh
So
yeah.
it's good to
Amanda's
have a
learned a
second,
lot, and
yeah.
she did a lot of the trainings too.
Yeah.
But it's hard because some of the trainings you do, and then you don't do that thing for 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
So you're like, how do I do that again?
Can you call and say, hey, can you walk? Because I do this with Beta all the time. I have once a year procedures, and it's like, can you help me go through this?
Yeah, that's what this would be about for
Yeah.
some extent. Yeah, they'll help
Yeah.
with some, but you got to be careful. If it's too big
Oh,
a
yeah.
task, they're going to be like, you're going to have to
Yeah.
pay for that.
But it's like, I forgot how to do this. Which button do I push?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they would answer certain questions, and they will help
Yeah.
us with very simple things. They always have, even
Yeah.
with stuff that we were trying to do on the old system. But generally speaking, I think that we're going to need some assistance in the upcoming year with a new person.
Okay.
And even if Amanda needs something, because she can't remember how to
I
do
tell
it.
you, if she came back from classes, she will AI stuff that will hook to our bylaws. If somebody comes in, it would have a printed out, it would print out the bylaws with exact, with all the ramifications in that, and tell exactly what they can and cannot do.
No, she's very tech savvy, so she's going to be a great asset
Yeah.
with this. But there's still a portion that's dealing with the boards and committees. That's
Yeah.
up in this office.
And then Amanda has her own job to do.
Right, so
Yeah.
she's still, this office
Yeah.
still does like working with people on their pages.
Yeah.
And, putting out alerts and,
Yeah.
some of that we're gonna have to push to Amanda anyway, because it probably happened that she'll have to do it. But she does, obviously, we've already pushed, like she does all the minutes, she does all the postings, she's doing all that already. She's learned how to do the announcement pieces, the news bulletins and all that, so some of that will shift to her, but, we're also trying to do things where we list, job offerings and how do we load those, and then we're listing, now we have the 2 calendars, because we're trying to do a community events calendar and a board and committee calendar, so we were trying to get more things on the community calendar. So it's just new, it's just different. And so we really think that it would be good to support both the current personnel and the next personnel with some additional resources for a year.
Is this new website also have the ability, if there is, for alerts or emergencies for the townspeople, example, road closures, we've had sewer breaks, water breaks.
Yeah, we have to put it on.
You can put that on, also like, as we hear with the health or transfer station, their closure. Because again, as time is going on, more and more people depend on the internet and computers to find out actually what's going on in town.
Right, and
You
we
can-
need to talk about a procedure. We've talked a little bit about this. I didn't
Yeah.
want to get into it too much. We've talked a little bit about procedures, like when someone's not here, there are things that Sandra does from home. I do contact her and say, put this up, and she'll put it on the website from home. So we do have some of that ability, and we'd like to do more of that ability. We just have to transition into how's that going to work. Is that going to be the person does it, or is it going to be Amanda that does it without having to come into the office?
Well, she can do that from home, but also you
Yes.
have to sign up for anything. You can sign up for all announcements,
Yeah.
and it would
Yes.
come back to you.
We're telling
And
people,
it's
reminding people,
just
please
different
sign up.
categories.
Yeah.
Because all of
Everything
that disappeared with the
police,
transition.
I feel so much
So if
more
you're signing up for
comfortable
board and
having,
committee and announcement,
the-
go on and do it.
I feel so much more comfortable having the town website doing than people hearing it from next
Next
door,
door.
which is
Yes.
second, third, fourth
Again,
information.
it's only gonna be information as far as doing that. It will say, well, like the transfer
Right.
station's closed today, or
Kind of like a
town
town
hall
alert.
is
Right, so
closed
there
today
is- you
'cause the
can sign up for the
electricity-
That's all I'm
alerts.
looking
Right.
for, nothing more than
Right,
that.
you can sign up, and people said the sign up is much actually nicer than the old one. It's actually better. But you can sign up for alerts.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that
yeah,
would be,
then they-
that's one
Yeah, that's a
separate
good way to
thing.
do it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the news, and then there's boards and committees when minutes get posted or whatever, then you can sign up for individual boards and committees. But everyone needs to re-sign up if they signed up, because it was just something that couldn't be ported over.
Okay, that's good to know, okay.
So
And
we're
then one
telling
of the
everybody.
categories too is agendas, and once you put an agenda on, and then you put the minutes on, it goes exactly the same page.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
click
okay.
on
Yeah.
agenda and click on minutes as far as who
It's
that-
a
so
little
you can
bit more
see-
user-friendly
yeah,
in that
and you
respect.
No,
can see-
I've been on it once, it is definitely more user-friendly and,
But it's not
It's a
necessarily
good
on the
update.
back end. It just has more steps than it used to have in some respects, which gives us a cleaner look and a cleaner act on the front
So-
end, but the back end's a little.
Getting back to what's in front of us,
yep.
Is there a motion out there for a reserve fund transfer?
Pass this to her.
I can't read
Bernie.
it.
I, Bernie Parada, make a motion for the transfer amount.
Just to give it to her to sign.
In the amount of $3,659 to be transferred to account number 01-155-5580, which is computer supplies and services other.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion from anybody? Are we all ready to vote on it?
Jane Campbell says yes.
Bernie Parada says yes.
Morgan O'Brien says yes.
Lindsay McCarthy, yes?
Robin Vandermeer, yes.
Gail Weiss, yes.
Perfect.
If you could take one of each of those and pass them around. That was me, bad. Bad handoff.
Okay, so town building maintenance update.
So, some documents going around.
Okay,
The first one I'll just start with is, we did this as a test, we were the test guinea pig for Maya, our insurance agency, because they are looking to partner. They actually, at the last Maya meeting, made me kind of speak to it, and they're trying to get some additional Maya towns to actually come on board. It's like a medium town and a bigger town. Yeah, it's only a few pages, but you may have extras, you may have to pass more through. If you disappear, I was gonna give her one. And you should each have the presentation. So basically, this was the presentation they did about what we're using. So, you could, I don't want to go through all of this, I'll give you a chance to take a look at it, but just to kind of give you a rundown on this pilot program, the real positive thing is the asset management tagging, that's tracking the maintenance of the building assets, like the furnaces, the boilers, HVAC, water heater, anything we want. We can you'll see the QR code over your head, Gail, if you just look up. Anything we tag with a QR code, we can just scan with our phones, we could put a work order in from that, whatever we want. Or everybody was set up and emailed a link, if you guys got one too, you can actually go in and create a work order, just from your phone, or your computer, on something we haven't tagged. And I gave you an example here of a work order created. I get every work order notification, and then if it's fixed. So I get, hello, Andrea, although it's not me. Senior Center put in a work order to hang a tack board with pictures outside the Senior Center. It says low priority, status was open, location Town Hall, basement Senior Center. So she went and put that in and was assigned to Michael. And then you'll see on the next page that it was done. I get notified that it was resolved.
that is cool.
Had Colleen decide where she wanted the pictures hung them outside the Senior Center, so he can put in what happened, status is closed, issue resolved. So it's tracking everything, which is great, because we can then by category talk about, what's going on with the furnace. Oh, we've had 5 work orders on that furnace, versus what are the other things that Michael is doing at any given period time of the day. And you'll see through here, it can do all sorts of things beyond that. There's a picture of Michael, actually, in this presentation, tagging, outside the library, tagging one of their things. So it takes pictures and it ranks, because it uses AI, it ranks the condition, the physical condition, and everything else you fed into it. So as we do more and more maintenance on things, it starts to give us information on the condition of the asset. It'll look at it and it'll say, this looks in pretty good condition, feed information in. If you keep coming back with work orders, it's gonna come back and start to tell you,
Yep, problem, yeah.
you know, so we can track what's happening with each asset. How often are we going in? How often are we getting calls on it? It will also then, another couple of important things, we put in whatever data we had on these. When was it installed? What year is it? Well, some of it, we didn't have any of that data. Too old, or we don't know. So we took pictures of registration numbers, serial numbers. AI went, oh, that was built in 2015.
Love that.
Told us back that this machine, regardless of when you put it in, was made in 2015. So now we have a sense of how old things are because we know when they were created. So that's why this
That is
AI is
cool.
all part of this whole technology piece. So now we have that system, now we have it in place, now all these assets that we were scrambling around trying to find paper on, when did we put that broiler in, when did these HVAC systems go in? Now it's storing all that permanently, and it's tracking all of the maintenance done on it, all of the work done on it, and we're gonna be able to turn that around to try to create some capital planning documents.
Right, that would
So that
help.
we can start to say, this is how old the pellet stove is, this is how old the furnace is, this is how old these things are. Here's how many times we had it serviced.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Also, and I get these on my phone, every now and then I get the work order, this work order created, this wasn't one put in for a specific task. I get work order created, weekly check on the furnace. So Michael has created work orders to remind him to weekly go and look at the furnace, to physically go and look at the furnace, to physically go and look at the pellet boiler, to physically go to the senior center on the stove. Things that have been chronic or you're just worried about. Like in the winter, go every week, make sure the furnace is okay, make sure that's been great. And then I get a check off that he's gone and done it. He's gone and done his weekly check. He created all those himself just to remind himself. So you can't remember, geez, when did I go last week and look at the He gets a work order, he goes in and he checks it off. So he's using that to set up routine maintenance as well. So that has also been really helpful. Just it makes us feel more comfortable that we know that he's going in there. We also used to get internet notifications because the pellet boiler had the ability to do that, and they stopped coming, and we couldn't figure out why, and he's been working on that and trying to electrician, or things not connected. Well, for the first time, good or bad, I got a pellet boiler low ash or ash warning, which usually means the ash is built up and you have to go knock the ash off. But it was the first time I'd seen it in weeks. So he's like, oh yeah, I've been working on that. It was good to see, because I can see, he gets it, I get it, like all of a sudden it's showing up again. So he's getting things running again. He's getting maintenance things running again. So that we are watching our assets, very expensive assets.
I know one of the things that Michael's doing, or one of the conversations that have been happening is getting that routine maintenance, like you were talking about, on like a more predictable schedule.
Yeah.
So those like annual servicings that need to happen from like a third party provider.
Yes.
I know that they sometimes will have like reports and things that come back from that. Do you know if this app will be able to handle external document
Yes.
uploads and things like that? So
Yes.
like that,
We can
they
upload
can just
all of that.
be the system of record.
We can upload all of that. Absolutely. And we want to do that. So when they hand a report, now they're emailing you the report, which is perfect because you
Yeah.
want it digitally. So all those files you used to have on every piece of equipment, now he's got a computer. We bought him a computer. He's creating his digital
Nice.
documents. So as we get all of those, they will be stored digitally. So we're not going to have to do what we were doing in the past. Oh, when was the last time? And we have the between us and the library, because he's doing both buildings. We're doing the elevators, we're doing the fire alarm systems, and we discovered a whole bunch of things about the fire alarm systems, like who are our actual vendors? Were we using the same vendors for both systems? Turns out we weren't. But wait a minute, what happened? All of a sudden we started to figure out all these things because they were being standardized,
Yeah.
and somebody was looking at them. When was the last time when they come in and is getting this report and that report, and what does this mean? What's it? And starting to figure all that out. We do the fire extinguishers have to be inspected every year. So he's coordinating all of that with both buildings, with multiple vendors. And it has allowed us to find vendors and, stick with the same vendors.
It'll
Some-
send you reminders, like with the
Yes.
annual, you'll say, I want in April to start looking, or
Well,
send.
he can put in as he has when he's doing things annually.
Okay,
And then he'll know when it's coming up annually.
okay, they'll send some sort of reminder out
great.
there.
Yeah, so that all is now being incorporated.
Flashing red lights.
Flashing.
Flashing red lights, yes. And you can, I'm not gonna go through all this because I thought it'd just be for you to take a look at this system. And we're not even using it to its whole capacity yet, because we're just learning it. But you'll see the incredible amount of use that this system gives us. And Michael's very open to it. He's very much trying to jump in and try to use the different pieces of the puzzle.
Be nice to be able to use it at the elementary school.
Maybe someday.
I was thinking
Maybe
that too.
someday.
It is our building.
Yeah, yeah.
Andrea, I might have missed it, but is this a service you purchased or?
Well, right now
what is
we're in the
this?
test phase, so we haven't purchased anything.
Okay,
So at some point, I'm sure we'll have to pay for it. But we're a small town, and the guy did talk to me. He's like, we haven't done rates. He said, but we will have tiers because we're not using them the way
right.
the city of Fitchburg would use them. You know what I mean? It's like, so yes, at some point we will have to build this into our budget, and we may be able to absorb it. I mean, if it's $1,000 a year, I don't know. The point is, I think that it's going to be well worth our cost.
Be
Oh,
money
yeah.
money well spent.
And I think being the test
Especially 'cause
pilot,
they
I met the
say,
guy who's
I
the
mean,
president of the
right
company,
now.
they're kicking this off the ground. They've got other clients. They're getting into the municipal realm. They have a lot more private clients.
So we're just a test site.
We're a test because Maya, the insurance company, at a meeting, we were talking about things, and I said to Tricia, who sits next to me, who's in charge of like a lot of this stuff, small towns, we have a hard time with our building asset management because there's nobody to do it. I mean, we're lucky in the sense that we have Michael as a position. A lot of towns have a janitor if they're lucky, if even part-time. And the problem is you put someone like me in charge of your buildings. I don't know anything about buildings other than it's reaction. Something fails, fix it. Something does this, fix it. There's very little proactivity because you just don't have the time or the expertise. So we knew we had this building, we knew we had the library, and we're probably going to have other buildings at some point that we're going to want to say, we need to set this up, we need the system for all of our equipment. And it just, and going with it this way now, building it slow before we build the new buildings, I think is a good way to do it because once you get somebody who knows what they're doing, you start adding on. You can add on these pieces. So we've done the 2. We're just doing the 2 now and getting used to it. We can tag other pieces as we need. We have the tags. He knows how to set that up and add assets. But yeah, I don't know what the cost for sure is going to be. I've been assured it's going to be reasonable because we are a small town and we are using the system less than someone who has 20 municipal buildings. But it's definitely, I think it started when Michael started, which was great because he's launched right into it at the same time. So it's opened up a lot of avenues. So take a look at it, take it over. I mean, if you have more specific questions, we're only a few months in, believe it or not.
Given that Maya's involved, does it have the potential of building credits towards our property and casualty?
Oh, she told me to mention that we're doing it
Okay,
as part of our annual,
okay.
to put it on the sheet that
Right.
you send in every year that
Yeah.
says, we took this training, we took
Yeah.
this training. They take money off your insurance if you do certain,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
so, yeah. It will.
One thing I want to say, because Michael's name has been brought up, he has been doing double duty for the last few days and going to next week or so. So he has stepped up to the plate because Tammy's out for a little while. So
Yeah, custodian, she's just taking a couple weeks. She's,
Yeah, so
Taking
everybody's
a break.
helping out a little bit as far as doing that, but he's been out doing more than he probably has to. So
yeah, we're cleaning up a lot of stuff and just, he's came in over the weekend to mop up all the salt on the
Salt,
floors, because they're wood floors and everything.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, no, he's been great. So, that's worked out really well. So, so anyway, so this is the program. And like I said, you can look into this. I thought this probably says more than I could even explain about it. I'd like to have Michael come in when we've had maybe 6 or 8, maybe this summer, once we really get into it, and we have some time, after budget season, when things slow down a little bit, like for us, not for everybody, in like July and August, then Michael and I can sit, maybe take enough data and start to feel like we've compiled enough data to maybe figure out how do we now turn on the planning cycle? How do we start to make a capital plan out of this now that we have 6 or 8 months worth of data, and how to use that? So that's our hope. And,
Anything else on town?
Town administrator update?
I didn't know if anybody had any questions on I keep sending you these. I
Yeah.
hope that's okay. I'm trying to.
Oh, yeah,
That's fine.
please.
I'm trying to
Please, I
give
do
you,
look
trying to
at
be in the
them.
habit, and that they didn't used to, and I'm like, why are we not sending the monthly updates? So
Yeah.
I'm sending them with the stuff I send you after every warrant, but anytime anyone has, even if you're just looking at it and you get one and you have a question on something, you can just email me singly, so the
Yeah.
whole group doesn't have to hear it, but I'm happy to answer any questions on it, because sometimes I'm sure that you're looking at it. And it does have the sewer and EMS on the back, so you can track what she was talking about.
And if you just take your months divided by 12, so if you know you're 9 months in, like the end of March would be 75%, so. you
But
can look
but
at
it's
those, yeah.
hard, because some things are all up front.
Oh, yeah, like in
You'll see
July. when you're
90%
paying
is
all your-
expended in August.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know my accounting budget disappears as I'm paying Vadar.
Yeah, so when we pay assessments, when we pay the, retirement,
Right.
when we pay the insurance, we get a discount.
But your
if we pay
operating
upfront.
accounts, you shouldn't be hitting 80% at the end.
No, that would be pretty scary if you were at
Yeah.
80% for most of that,
For
unless
highway
it's
or
something
something.
in particular.
Yeah.
but- And you can see how the salaries go and the stipends
Yeah.
and,
If those are usually relatively stable.
yeah.
Okay. Any other
The
updates?
only other thing I wanted to let you know is we were talking, I know you were talking about, just queen of paper here. I know you were talking about stabilization accounts. And when I started here, they had one stabilization account, general stabilization, and I forced them to split to a capital stabilization account. A large amount of money went into that capital stabilization account and then got moved into the emergency services building account, where it now resides. So, because that was the focus at the time. But your capital stabilization account is a general capital stabilization account. It has not been, under any
Earmarked.
rule,
Yeah.
signified for anything. When I worked in Buckland, they had a highway stabilization, they had a fire stabilization, they had a transfer station stabilization, they had and that worked very well for them. They put money into each one, and they would go to town meeting and they say, we're gonna buy a truck, it's $200,000, we're gonna take $100,000 out of stabilization, and we're gonna borrow for 5 years on State House notes the other $100,000 on this truck. And they would pay it off in 5 years, but they already had half of it saved. So they used the borrowing stabilization thing, and they used the capital account. They'd say it's on our schedule, like the ones we have. We've planned for it. It's a $400,000 truck. We've saved $200,000. Now we're going to borrow $200,000 and pay it off. They did lease to borrow for police cars all the time. Borrow to purchase. So you can really start to manage the expenses, so you're not whacked with these $400,000, $600,000, using your free cash all the time on two huge expenses. I know that fire has a stabilization account now. I know that highway has asked. I think the board should have a discussion, and it's not up to me, but I think the board should have the discussion you
Yeah.
started to talk about. Do you want individual stabilization accounts, or do you want one capital stabilization account with the understanding that
We
going to
can
have a
take money out of it.
schedule? I did use the intern this summer to take those schedules, and I have not had a chance to update them, and put them all together. So I do have a document that contains all of those capital schedules in one document. It needs to be updated, probably I just haven't had a chance during the budget season. So you could be looking down the line to say, oh, we need $600,000 a year to be doing all the or we need to borrow this and save this, or what should we be putting away every year? And you'll never put away as much as you need, because you're going to find your needs are
Oh, yeah.
way more. But that's where partial borrowing comes in, so that you're paying for things over time. And you take your amortization schedule and put the year on it, and you put a fire truck and a police cruiser. You know, they were doing police cruisers, $10,000 a year for 5 years, and they owned it. You know, and maybe it lasted 2 more years. Then you got rid of it, and you put another. So you're paying $10,000 a year for a cruiser, for every cruiser. Done. So you have 3 cruisers. You pay $30,000 a year, and you got it. They're never more than 5 years old, or you rotate them, or whatever. 3 years
Orange
old.
used to lease ambulances.
Right. And you're just rotating them through, and you just understand it's going to be $12,000 or $15,000 every year on a police cruiser, and you're rotating them that way. And instead of every 2 years, you're buying one for $80,000. I don't know. Anyway, the math has to be done. But anyway, that's one way to do it. So the capital stabilization account, because most of the money was shifted towards the emergency services building account, which is probably going to be used because 2 buildings are still now in the works, sits at $113,000. I think it's time to seriously consider, if you're going to stick to one, to put the money in one. So $75,000 might not be a bad stabilization
A
number.
general capital,
It
yeah.
might just be a general capital stabilization, or thinking about whether you want to start them for different ones, which has its pluses as well.
Well, you can
Because
always-
I
don't
think it should be made with.
would ever-
I'm just thinking it should be done with a plan,
Yeah.
rather than they started one.
I don't think it would ever
they
work
started
here,
one.
but in Pelham, they voted themselves an override for
Yeah.
capital
A
stabilization.
lot of towns have done that.
Yeah, and they started out with 225, and they're allowed to go up to 2.5% a year. They're now at about 260, and they pretty much are able to follow their plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
you have to get
you don't
an
really need
override,
to do
yeah.
that here.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
And I can't imagine it
Well, you don't need an
passing here.
override. You're under levy.
Yeah.
We're way under levy.
So
At
But in
this
order
point
to
in
do
time.
that, but I mean, you can do it as part of your,
Yep.
yeah,
Right.
within your levy limit.
but
yeah.
you've been doing it.
Yeah.
You've been putting $500,000 on the tax rate
Right.
every year for the
Exactly.
emergency services
Okay.
stabilization account.
So maybe that's how we have to do it. when
So
they
the
mail
question
me.
becomes, and there's one in there.
Yeah.
In your budget still says $500,000 capital emergency services account. Well, maybe you don't put it in the emergency services account. You say, maybe that $500,000 goes into the capital stabilization account
Right.
this year, which is where it used to go
Yeah.
till it kind of got earmarked. But you're sitting on 2.4 in the emergency services building account. Maybe that 500,000 should be redirected to the capital stabilization account.
Yeah.
So are we reading you right that you would prefer one account versus each department's? Because
No, I think
you see the fire has started the ball rolling with their
Yes.
stabilization, which is not funded.
yeah.
You have highway asking for one. What's
Right.
next? Police and various
Right,
other.
so I'm not gonna say that I have a preference so much as that you guys discuss it and pick your strategy.
Okay.
Just don't,
Makes
you don't
sense.
wanna go haphazard.
No.
This compartment gets one, this one doesn't, these fall under
Yeah.
capital, these are gonna have their own, like, decide what you guys think you should do as a concerted strategy. Because that makes more sense going forward. Either we're gonna
Okay.
go to capital stabilization account and we're gonna start socking money away and it's
Okay.
gonna be everybody's, or maybe we should be going separate and working
Yeah.
towards, cause they have
But do
different
it
needs.
in a fair manner where
I think that'd
everybody,
be a discussion you have
Yeah.
one of our last meetings
Yeah.
before we get into.
Because,
Okay.
you know, when you go to town, so you can make a recommendation to the
Yeah.
select board, we're recommending, no, don't do highway, but put 500,000 in capital because we think we wanna go this way. Or, we like the idea of doing separate ones, maybe we should be
Take
putting
part and split,
75 in
yeah.
here and 75 in here
yeah.
and
I want
not,
you, I'm one that likes to treat everybody fairly equally. I know.
well, they have different
police, yeah.
needs. I mean,
Huh?
the police department's costs are never gonna be as expensive, so you wouldn't
Yeah.
need as much for them.
Right.
Fire
But-
and highway
But
are
fire
always
and
going to be the
highway
highest.
will
yeah.
always be.
Correct.
So
And you
maybe-
can,
Yeah, we
if
can
he
fix a
updates his
formula.
schedule, you should be able to look
Yeah.
down every year and see. That's what happens with
Yeah.
deferred maintenance, when everything ends up squished on the schedule, you've got 0, 0, 0, 0, a million, a million, a million,
Yeah.
because everything needs to be
Yeah.
replaced all at once, so that's the idea of the schedules, just try to spread it out.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I have a preference.
Yeah, I mean, there
I
is
just think
different
that you should
strategies.
pick what strategy you'd like to recommend, because that
Okay.
makes more sense than having a capital and having a few, like, for
I
different
like the idea of
departments.
spreading, if you're gonna have all these, spread it out or just
Right.
have one.
And because you have 2.4 sitting, it might make sense this year not to put the $500,000 in, the emergency services building account. Put it in whatever mechanism of stabilization accounts you decide you wanna go with. If it's create highway and put some in there, fund some in fire, create some for police, whatever
Yeah.
strategy, it makes sense to, I think, shift the money this year. So when you look at the use of free cash this year, I always include every capital article in the free cash
And we'll show
column.
it a little
And then
bit
you
if you
can
did.
decide what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
It's pretty close, you're
Yeah.
pretty close to funded with the 75 in there.
yeah.
But the $500,000 is sitting on the tax rate. It's not gonna be a good year.
No. few
So,
years aren't gonna be.
you might be like, maybe we use 100,000 of free cash into capital and $400,000 on the tax rate. You may have to wanna start playing with those,
Figures.
those
Yeah.
concepts, depending on how you wanna go. But I've thrown everything in as I'm getting it, so that you can start to see on that front page the effect, the budget is down or is up and the revenues are down. It's not pretty.
No.
Is it set in stone? No, you're not set in stone yet, but you're starting to see, through the fog a little bit about where this is going. So that's my recommendation. Just pick one and
Think it through.
run with it.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me this time?
Nope, briefings on meetings attended by others. There was a school meeting, school budget, and then,
School budget meeting, yeah.
did anybody go to that one?
Yeah,
did.
we looked at their final, I believe, they're still looking at it, but
Okay.
they're reducing their budget by $800,000, which still means it's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 8% more than last year. The towns that are getting hit worse is gonna be Bernardston.
Yeah.
What is ours, around
212, that's the assessment they
What
go
was the
with.
percent increase, any idea?
For
For us, for
I
our
have it.
assessment?
Assessments were over
Four-
4% for us.
Okay,
four and a
When
half.
Leiden and Bernardston got hit much harder.
Why did
12 and
Leiden get
14.
hit so
They're
hard?
like 12.
Because they have new growth, they have a lot of new growth.
I don't know.
in there.
It's,
They're-
it
The sad
may
thing
be,
is,
And they're not getting it, well, like their business in town there, that they were supposed to get some money back from their marijuana.
oh, that's Bernardston, yeah.
Bernardston.
Bernardston, yeah, I
And so
know.
they-
Bernardston got hit
Feel
very
worse.
hard. I mean, they're $500,000 increase.
Yeah,
the other thing too is when you looked at the other thing, they look at the new growth. We were not very good at new
No.
growth. We're at the top, more towards the bottom end in the state
Yeah.
for growth.
Yeah.
We have had hardly any new growth at all.
yeah,
So they have had more,
Yeah.
especially Bernardston.
Yeah, it's
Well, I
the
noticed
funding
their-
formula.
the pot revenue went down.
The funding formula, however,
that's
is
what-
not,
yeah, they were
it's not been
bringing in
favorable
some
in
of
Chapter
that.
70
They're not too
formula. It's
happy
not.
with that.
Yeah, because it was 250 the year before.
Yeah.
This year, I think it was just over 2.
And I do want to point out that the assessment I have for the tech school looks high, but I don't have their real number.
Yeah,
So I did what looked like it could be the highest cost per kid that he was mentioning and the most kids he was mentioning. I don't think that's probably going to be the case, but I just wanted to put a number in there.
They were looking at what, 58 to 60
58
students?
students.
Well,
I think they
not
were talking-
58 because we know that 12 are graduating and and they can only technically under the agreement
Let
take 10.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going to come out of the lottery. So
Yeah.
theoretically, they have 2 seats in the lottery. They could both come up Northfield. Probably not likely, because they already have quite a number of students who are who are waiting in the waiting list. So could be none. So we could be down 10. So we could be down another 2 students. That would be another 40,000 off of there. And I don't know that number for tuition is set in stone yet. They hadn't voted their final. I haven't gotten the link to the budget book yet. When I get it, I'll forward it to you guys.
he was expecting one in a couple of
Anytime.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty close to passing it.
Right, so when that budget book comes in, then we'll get our actual assessment in it. So right now, I'm filling that in. And the EMS is also an estimate, and it's low. I have to fix it. But he's also working on his numbers, because they're not set in stone either. But he comes before you on the 23rd, so
Yeah.
he'll be able to
Ooh.
explain the formula.
Okay.
and what's
yeah.
going on there.
Okay, we all, any other meetings? No, okay. No, there's no public here or public comment. I didn't see anything in the box for correspondence. Items within the past 48 hours? No. Okay, and next meeting is the 23rd.
Yep.
And that
Public
is
safety.
public safety night.
As I've said before, I will not be
Okay.
here.
You don't wanna zoom in?
No, I'm gonna be, no. I'm gonna have a 2.5-year-old on my lap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he can pop up and say
He'll love to
hi.
see the
Probably will.
firefighters and the
He'll
police
sing.
officers.
The ABCs,
Yeah.
not words and backwards, no. just-
My husband was on the planning board back in the mid-90s. He would take our son and he'd just walk around, and every once in a while you see this little head pop out.
All right, I make a motion that, Bernie Parada makes a motion.
Oh,
to
just
adjourn.
next meeting's, oh yeah, never mind, I just
23rd.
said that, the 23rd.
You
Okay,
said
go
the
ahead.
23rd, yeah.
Okay.
Second,
I, Gail Weiss, aye.
Dan Campbell, yes.
Bernie Parada, yes?
Morgan O'Brien, yes.
Lindsay McCarthy, yes?
Robin Linderman, yes.
I knew
Good night.